along with you for the WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington Les Schwab Tires 2012 2A Girls State Swim and Dive Championships, the finals. Glad you could join us. We have over the next couple of hours some of the finest swimming in the state and the 2A classification, and we will get things underway right away with our first event. It is the 200-yard medley relay. In each of our events, we will have a consolation round, a consolation heat followed by a finals heat. Points scored in both classifications, but of course the finals are where the individual champions are crowned. And in this one, it is Mark Morris, the top qualifier in the consolation. They are in lane number 4. They are going to be from the bottom going to the top. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we'll give you the lane assignments here. In lane number 8 at the bottom, it is Hawkinson. In lane 7, North Kitsap. Lindbergh is in lane 6. Sammamish is in lane 5. Mark Morris in lane 4. They were the fastest qualifier in this consolation, which is kind of a dubious mark because it's the last team out of the finals. But Mark Morris in lane 4. Port Townsend in lane 3. Pullman is in lane 2. And Steilicum is in lane 1. This is a 25-yard length of the pool, so each swimmer will go down and back, starting with that backstroke, now into the breaststroke portion. They will come on back to the butterfly and then into the freestyle. But in this one, looking for points in the final heat coming up next, it's Sumner, the top qualifier. That will be the fastest qualifying time. They will be looking for championship gold in our next heat. The storyline here in terms of the team competition, last year's defending champ Seaholm, they've typically battled it out with Squalicum the last couple of years, but it does not appear that those two teams are going to be among the top contenders, as Tumwater, Lake Washington, Ellensburg, and Port Angeles are all going to be vying for that team championship today. Tumwater led by talented Abby Sullivan, who was one of the top qualifiers coming in. But Julia Sanders of Hawkinson, if you want to talk about individual events, she's a 2-time individual champion, defending champion in a couple of events. She's an 8-time state champion. She'll go for a couple more in 200 individual medley and also in the 100 butterfly as well. So Hawkinson, Julia Sanders, a name we'll be talking about. Also Kelsey Crane will be looking to defend her 500 freestyle. Here is the finish of the consolation, and it will be Mark Morris coming in, touching first in a time of 2:01.53. Second in the consolation heat is going to be Port Townsend at 2:02.36, and third is Sammamish at 2:03.46. Of course, those placings will be 9 on down through 16, and points tabulated, especially in the relays. Big points to be had there, 40 points awarded for the winner of this, and that will count towards the overall team total. So we'll be keeping track of individual champions as well as the team championship as we go on through our 12-event meet today. And here we go for the finals. In the 200-yard individual, or rather 200-yard medley relay, the top qualifier coming in was Sumner in a time of 1:55.60, and we'll see the teams come on in as they will ceremonially check in at the beginning of each of the finals. And they will filter in, and we'll get you our lane assignments next. But yesterday for Sumner, top qualifying time of 1:55.60. That blew up their seed time coming in by over 3 seconds. So they really put on a show yesterday. And Alicia Diddy will lead off with Ashley Hune doing the second leg. Madison Munger the third leg, and bringing it home will be Callan Gustafson for Sumner. So they will be the team to beat in lane number 4. The rest of the lane assignments in lane number 1, which will be at the top of your screen. That will be Fife, qualifying at a time of 2 minutes flat .23. The defending champion in this team event, Squalicum, of course, a different unit that participated last year, but they are in here looking to perhaps defend their team title. They'll be in lane 2. Lake Washington will be in lane 3, one of the teams thought of for a potential state championship here, so critical points on the line for them. Sumner in lane 4, Port Angeles in lane 5, Ellensburg in lane 6, West Valley of Yakima in lane 7, and Seaholm is in lane 8 at the bottom of the screen, and we are underway.
2 minutes, 55 seconds.
First leg is the backstroke, down and back. And already the early advantage. It's a very neck and neck battle, but a slight advantage in lane 7 right now for West Valley. But pulling up is Sumner in lane number 5, or make that Port Angeles. Touching first after the first leg is Port Angeles at 28.90, but closely behind them, West Valley at 29.11. And out in lane 3, Lake Washington, 29.34. Into the breaststroke leg here. And a quick touch and turn in lane number 4 by Sumner. They appear to have the lead here. This is Ashley Hune with the breaststroke. About to make the turn to the butterfly, and tapping in first, Sumner. At an even 1 minute, .73. Port Angeles less than a second behind, likewise for Sumner. Or rather Lake Washington, looking right in the middle. It's going to come down to lanes 4, 5, and 3. Sumner with the lead. Port Angeles battling hard in lane 5. Lake Washington starting to trail and fall off a little bit in lane 3, and we've got a battle here in the freestyle leg. Down and back, bringing it home. Sumner, Callan Gustafson. Port Angeles, Audro Parizo. Good turn for Sumner. And with about 12 yards to go, it looks like it's going to be Sumner, Port Angeles. Lake Washington trying to get third. It'll be Port Angeles in second, and Lake Washington in third. Ellensburg fourth, Squalicum fifth, 5 6th, West Valley of Yakima 7th, and Seaholm in 8th. So congratulations to the state champions. Sumner in the 200-yard medley relay. They clock in at 1:53.56. They knock over 2 seconds off of their time in the preliminaries. What a job by Sumner to claim the state title. Port Angeles just a second behind at 1:54.63. Lake Washington picking up some of those critical points in the team competition. Of course, Port Angeles also thought to be in that mix as well, so they get a little leg up on Lake Washington by capturing that second right in front of them. Ellensburg also thought to be in the state championship mix. They finish 4th in this one, just a half second behind Lake Washington. So the 200-yard medley relay in the books with Sumner, your champion. And we move on to the 200-yard freestyle. But first, before the freestyle, we're scheduled to have our Team Academic Award presentations. The swimmers for the consolation round of the 200-yard freestyle are behind their blocks and getting mentally and physically prepared for this, but we await the presentation of the Team Academic Award momentarily, and we'll wait for that cue. But we can tell you about the 200-yard freestyle. Yesterday, Seaholm's Gwendolyn Rowley, the top qualifier, in a time of 2 minutes, .18. She will be the top contender in this one. Madeline Gilman will try to give her a run for her money. The second best qualifier from Bellingham, and Lake Washington freshman Jana Van Stone, who's just kind of blasted onto the scene, had the top qualifying time coming in, cruised a little bit in the prelim, and has a time just about 2 seconds off the mark from Gwendolyn Rowley. We're going to take a look at the presentation now of the Team Academic Awards. And here in the 2A classification, the lowest classification of swimming and diving, so they merge in 1A as well. And your champions at the 1A level, Seton Catholic High School, with 10 participants. Their principal, Ed Little. Dick Scoba is the athletic director, and Mike Bemis, the head coach, a GPA of 3.598. At the 2A classification, it's Hawkinson High School winning the award with 7 competitors and a team GPA of 3.860. And Hawkinson, Principal Brian Lair, Athletic Director Beth Taga, and Mike Bemis, also the head coach, for Hawkinson. So Hawkinson and Seton Catholic working together. The 1A was presented just a moment ago. And this is the 2A presentation. So Hawkinson coming out now. Seton Catholic, the 1A award winner a moment ago. So Hawkinson with that GPA of 3.860. What a great job, both in the pool and in the classroom for these two squads. Seton Catholic and Hawkinson. All right, we move back into live action as we have the consolation round of the 200-yard freestyle. And the lane assignments here in lane number 4, the top qualifier in the consolation, Haley Gustafson of Sumner, 205.51. She will be in lane number 4. And the rest of the lane assignments from the top of your screen on down. Lane 1 is at the top. That will be Sam Dennison of Ellensburg. Alicia Hughes is in lane 2, senior from Pullman. Zilla's Alexi Mendez, a senior, in lane 3. Megan Smith is in lane 5, a sophomore from Clover Park. Port Angeles Tracy Macias is a senior in lane 6. Iden Muller of Capital, sophomore in lane 7, and Emma Murray is in lane 8, a sophomore from Evergreen. The freestyle, this will be 4 lengths of the pool. And a good clean start here. And the early advantage in lane number 6, Tracy Macias with the best of the starts. Macias had that lead, but a good turn by Gustafson gains her the lead, and she has the top split time. In lane number 5, it's Megan Smith who's taken the lead. And down the final leg here, it is going to be Megan Smith in lane 5. Smith getting a hard challenge out of lane 6 from Macias. The midway mark, the split for Megan Smith, 58.94. In second, Port Angeles' Tracy Macias at that midway mark, 8 lengths of the pool. In the 200-yard freestyle. This is the consolation heat. The finalists coming up, paced by Gwen Rowley, the one to beat in this one. But right now in the consolation heat, that last split, putting Megan Smith in front. Smith looking to bring it home, getting a stiff challenge in lane 3 from Medley of Zilla, but I think holding on for this one, it will be Megan Smith, the winner out of lane 5 in Clover Park in a time of 2:04.23. Zilla's Alexis Mendez, 2:04.87, and then Pullman's Alicia Hughes powering in lane 2 to a third place finish in the consolation heat in 2:05.22. So a nice job in the consolation. And we move on to the finals. And again, we'll keep you posted on the overall team scoring as we get a few events into this one. As obviously Sumner winning the 200-yard medley relay a moment ago, your leader in the team competition at the moment. Here come the finalists in the 200-yard freestyle. We mentioned Gwen Rowley, the top swimmer in the prelims. The sophomore from Seaholm will be in lane number 4, but the rest of the lane assignments in lane number 1 will be Josephine Hegerberg from Squalicum. The junior posting a time of 2:04.71. Haley Rankin from Prosser will be in lane 2, a senior. Lake Washington's Jana Van Stone, don't count her out, look in lane 3 for the freshman. A good qualifying time of 2:02.15. Gwen Rowley, we mentioned, in lane 4. Another one to keep an eye on, the second best qualifier, Madeline Gilman from Bellingham. She had the second best time coming into state, the second best time in the prelims in 2:01.22. In lane 6, Gabrielle Godlewski from WF West. And then in lane 7, Annika Stoker of Tumwater, a senior in her final state championship meet, and freshman from Capital, Jada Pearson, in lane 8. 8 lengths of the pool once again here in the finals of the 200-yard freestyle. Swimmers ready. And a good clean start once again. The state record in this event set in 2010 by Skyline's Andy Taylor, 146.55. The meet record at the 2A classification set in 2007 by Amelia Masigi of 151.26. Last year's winner in the 200-yard freestyle was Madison Munger of Sumner in a time of 157.03. A good swim will get them to that point. First split, Jana Van Stone of Lake Washington, the freshman, in the lead at 27.96. The third leg coming up here, nearing the midway mark. Now the fourth. And finally pulling ahead, here's Gwendolyn Rowley, just by a hair. We'll see where the touch is. The midway split, it is Gilman of Bellingham in the lead, followed by Seaholm's Gwendolyn Rowley. Just 5/100ths of a second separate those two. Jana Van Stone of Lake Washington in lane 3, in third at the moment. Hanging on tight is Gwen Rowley. Final trip down and back coming up right here. Rowley with the slightest of lead at 128.93. Just 6/100ths ahead of Gilman. Final flip turn and the go for a state championship right here. Rowley trying to expand on that lead. Gilman trying to hang in there. Van Stone fading a bit. Here's the finish. The winner, Gwen Rowley, in a time of 159.07. Gilman in lane 5 second. Nearly a second behind. In third place, Haley Rankin of Prosser in lane 2, getting the job done. Finishing fourth, Godlewski of WF West. Jana Van Stone had the fast start. She'll finish 5th in her first trip to the state championships. Tumwater's Annika Stoker, 6th. Josephine Hegerberg from Squalicum, 7th. And Jada Pearson of Capital finishes 8th in the 200-yard freestyle. But congratulations to state champion Gwen Rowley. And at this point, we will have our first championship presentations. And this will be for the 200 medley relay. As the award presentation, this is our first one of the day. These will follow the final heats of the following matches as they get the teams collected together. And so we focus our attention on the awards podium. Sumner, the winner of the 200-yard medley relay. And now they announce all of the teams. Seaholm in 8th place. Sometimes with these relays, it can take a while to get everybody all corralled because a lot of these folks are also racing in individual races. And here's West Valley of Yakima, the Rams. I think one of the more colorful caps out there with the ram horns on the top. Fife finishing in a time of 2 minutes, .31. Finishing in 6th. Squalicum checks in 5th place in a time of 1:58.10. Ellensburg collecting 4th place, 1:55.82, and we get down to our final 3. Lake Washington making a bid for a potential state championship, along with Ellensburg, Port Angeles, Tumwater, Seaholm. Port Angeles collecting 2nd place, a time of 1:54.63. And your champions are Sumner in a time of 1:53.56 in this 200-yard medley relay. Alicia Diddy ran the opening run in the backstroke. 31:26 the split. Ashley Hune, the breaststroke, 26:92. Callan Gustafson bringing home in 25.91. Also, Madison Munger in there as well. They dropped a full 5 seconds from their seed entry time by the time they placed, so what an improvement from the time they came in with at 1:58.74. They finished with a 1:53.56. They've got to feel really proud about their accomplishment in this one. And our next event coming up is a good one. It's the 200-yard individual medley, and this is one where we have the defending, or rather an 8-time state champion with the top qualifying time. The champion from last year was Natalie Ruiz of Othello in a time of 2:04.02. But Julia Sanders of Hawkinson, who has won 8 state titles, including last year in the 50 freestyle and the 100 butterfly, opting out of the 50-yard freestyle to compete here in the 200-yard IM. They are back-to-back events, so really only the opportunity to choose one, and this one has a little more glamour and glory to it because of the multiple strokes involved. Of course, the 50-yard freestyle, just a flat-out sprint, and that's coming up next after the 200-yard IM. But here in the individual medley, we will have a consolation final that will feature Shirley Lamb in lane 4. But before we move on to the 200-yard individual medley, we will have one of the fantastic proceedings that are offered here through the WIAA and the opportunities presented for students of all backgrounds and circumstance. And this is one of our disability swims where we'll have two competitors in a 50-yard freestyle. And in lane number 4, in this 50-yard freestyle disability swim, we'll have swimmers in lane 4 and in lane 5. Kaylee Sieber of Kentwood and Sierra Landholm of Fife. And it will be a swim down and back. And a tremendous job by these young ladies. And you can tell the fans appreciating their efforts in this one. Kaylee Sieber of Kentwood, Sierra Landholm of Fife. And a time of 34:23. From Fife's Sierra Landholm, Kentwood's Kaylee Sieber finishing in lane 5 in a time of 45:60. And a handshake and a congratulations, and certainly we applaud their efforts as well here in the 50 free disability swim. We move now on to the 200-yard individual medley, the consolation bracket. The top qualifier in this consolation heat, Shirley Lamb. She'll be in lane number 4, junior from Seaholm. The rest of the lane assignments in lane number 1 at the top of your screen will be Bailey Columbe from Ridgeway. And then Alicia Diddy in lane 2 from Sumner. Juskovich from Port Angeles in lane 3. Shirley Lamb in 4. Meredith Saar in lane 5 of 5. Ellenberg's Alicia Hummel in lane 6. Hannah Holmgren of Seaholm in lane 7. And West Valley of Yakima's Abby McGuire in lane 8. We start with the butterfly. And at the split, it's Alicia Hummel of Ellensburg in lane 6 with the early advantage. Fife's Meredith Sawyer in lane 5, second. But now into the backstroke portion. Hummel just expanding on her lead. Closest challenge coming in lane 4 from Shirley Lamb. Hummel still in the lead at 103.66. Lamb just a couple seconds off the pace in lane 4. The breaststroke and then the freestyle. On to the freestyle we go. Touching in, Shirley Lamb taking the lead, 147.40, but just 9/100ths behind Meredith Sawyer in lane 5. It's going to be a neck-and-neck battle to the finish. Don't count out Hummel in lane 6 either, as she looks to be putting together a good late charge. But after the final turn, it looks to be Sawyer in lane 5, Lamb in lane 4, Sawyer with about 10 yards to go. Nearly a body length lead, and she'll touch the wall first in 2:19.82, first place in the consolation heat. Shirley Lamb second at 2:21.60, and Ellensburg Alicia Hummel third at 2:22.40. And so to the championship heat we go in the 200-yard individual medley. And it is Julia Sanders of Hawkinson, the 8-time state champion, going for her 9th state title. did not compete in this event last year at state, instead winning the 50-yard freestyle, our next event coming up. So Sanders the one to beat as here come the March of the Champions. And our lane assignments will be for this final. In lane number 1, senior from Sumner, Ashley Hune. In lane number 2, it'll be the junior from Seton Catholic, Ada Beal. La Jolla's Kelsey Crane in lane number 3, a sophomore. Crane among the top qualifiers coming in. In fact, Crane had the best time in this event coming into the state meet. She finished 3rd in the prelims yesterday, so she is a worthy opponent. Madison Munger also going to be in the mix. Sumner Jr. in lane number 5. Tumwater senior Lorraine Hack will be in lane number 6. Kelly Giffey is in lane 7, a senior from WF West. And in lane number 8, Danielle Nelson from Olympic High School. She is also a senior. Kelsey Crane finishing 3rd in this event last year. Ada Beal was 4th in the event, and Giffey was 5th, so no stranger to this competition. Danielle Nelson finishing 7th in last year's event, but the one to beat is going to be Julia Sanders in lane number 4, and she's already off to a fast start in the butterfly leg. Good turn. The record in this one, Natalie Ruiz set in a time of 2:04.02. At the split is Hawkinson's Julia Sanders, 26.65, owning a 2.5 lead over Madison Munger in lane 5. Good turn off of the backstroke. Look at that. Nearly 12 yards underwater before coming up. That dolphin kick. Sanders broadening her lead midway through, touches the wall at 57.38. Munger in second at several seconds back at 1:01.14. In third place, it's Kelsey Crane at 1:01.42. The breaststroke leg. And Sanders opening up a huge lead. Gets about 1/3 of the way in that 25-yard pool underwater. And just 10 yards away from turning it on in the freestyle leg. 1:35.64 for Sanders. 1:39.69 for Munger in lane 5, and in lane 3, Kelsey Crane in third at 1:41.68. But it's all about Julia Sanders right now, the 8-time state champion, making her final turn. And for about the final 15 yards here, a championship stroll once again for Julia Sanders as she'll touch in at 2:05.90. Munger second at 2:10.24. Kelsey Crane third at 2:12.86. Lorraine Hack fourth at 2:15.10. Sixth place, Danielle Nelson. Seventh is Kelly Giffey. And in eighth place, Sumner's Ashley Hune. Congratulations to Julia Sanders, her 9th state title in her senior campaign. What a way to start off her final meet at Hawkinson. And we will switch around and go back to awards position again as we will celebrate the awarding of the champions in the 200 freestyle. And then we'll have another disability swim competition. Our next full championship event coming up is the sprint, the 50-yard freestyle. And we will have a bit of a break, so we will step aside for a moment. You are watching the 2012 2A Girls State Swim and Dive Championships presented by the WIAA, Dairy Farmers of Washington, and Les Schwab Tires. We'll be back for an awards presentation and our next swims in just a moment.
Hi, we're Chris
and Anna Groneveld, local dairy farmers from Monroe, Washington.
The Dairy Farmers of Washington, along with Les Schwab Tires, are proud co-title sponsors of the WIAA High School State Championships.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association supports high school programs and activities that keep our kids growing in mind and body.
Today's high school students will be some of tomorrow's community leaders, and we feel it is important to do our part in helping foster an appreciation of community, responsibility, teamwork, and sportsmanship in today's youth.
The WIAA helps provide those opportunities through athletic, artistic, and academic competition.
Please join the Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires in supporting young people in your community by attending your local high school state championships.
For a complete list of events and activities in your area, visit WIAA.com.
Welcome back to Federal Way, Washington, the Weyerhaeuser King County Aquatic Center. This is the WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington, Les Schwab Tires, 2012 2A Girls State Swim and Dive Championships. Alex Webster along with you, and right now we're witnessing the presentation of the medals in the 200 freestyle. Our winners in this event, or rather our placers in this event, Jada Pearson of Capital is the 8th place finisher in a time of 2:07.12. Josephine Hegeberg from Squalicum in a time of 2:06.86. 6th is Annika Stoker from Tumwater in a time of 2:05.75. Jana Van Stone, the freshman from Lake Washington, in 5th place in a time of 2:03.42. Gabrielle Godlewski of FW West in 4th place. In 3rd place is Haley Rankin from Prosser. This right now, the presentation to Madeline Gilman of Bellingham in a time of 1:59.92. And the champion in the 200-yard freestyle, Seaholm's Gwendolyn Rowley, a time of 1:59.07. Your champions in the 200-yard freestyle, as we have 3 events now in the books of our 12-event meet coming up. Just to give you the schedule of activities here, the 50-yard freestyle is coming up in just a few moments. That'll be followed by the diving portion of our competition. In the preliminaries, they ran that event concurrently, but we will show you that the final 3 dives of the finalists, the 16 competitors, coming up in just a moment, following the 50-yard freestyle. Then, a little bit later, after the diving portion, will be the 100-yard butterfly, the 100-yard freestyle, the 500-yard freestyle, that's the big distance race, and then we get back to relay action again, where big points can be had in the team competition, the 200-yard freestyle relay. The 10th event will be the 100-yard backstroke, followed by the 100-yard breaststroke, and then we'll bring it home in the capper, the 400-yard freestyle relay. So the schedule of events coming up for us here in a little bit. And we will have an additional disability swim once again, as Kaylee Sieber of Kentwood. Oh, we're presenting the awards for the disability swim here. And this is Kaylee Sieber of Kentwood, the medalist in the 50-yard free disability swim, getting her congratulations. And then Sierra Landholm of Fife, the champion in the 50-yard disability swim. Congratulations to these 2 courageous competitors. We are set now for the consolation in the sprint, the 50-yard freestyle coming up. The consolation heat. It will be Talahild in lane number 4, the time to beat in the consolation, the senior from Renton. The rest of the lane assignments look like this. Hannah Walker will be in lane 1, a freshman from Lake Washington. Sela Senior, Erica Smith will be in lane 2. Mark Morris's Masolenikov in lane 3. Hild is in 4. Genesee Schulte in lane 5. Rebecca Jones of Mark Morris will be in lane 6. Charlene Rinker from Clarkston will be in lane 7. And Rose Zhao of Pullman in lane number 8. Here in the 50-yard freestyle, Julia Sanders of Hawkinson, the winner last year in a time of 23:72. But the defending champ not competing in this event because she just won the 200-yard individual medley just a moment ago. So the consolation in the 50 freestyle, just moments away. And we're ready. Clean start here in the consolation of the 50-yard freestyle. It's down and back in this event. Full-on sprint with a flip turn in between. And this looks to be a duel. Slight advantage in lane number 6 for Jones. Let's see who's got finishing speed. The winner in the consolation is Rebecca Jones from Mark Morris in lane 6. Second place going to Renton's Talahild at 26:15. Third place, way out in lane 1, Hannah Walker from Lake Washington. Big points for the Kangaroos right there. 26.43. Nicely done in the consolation heat of the 50-yard freestyle. Now into the finals. We'll welcome the March of Champions here. The competitors. Claire Kaczynski-Murphy was the top qualifier in a time of 25:35. And for Lake Washington, we just saw Hannah Walker pick up 3rd in the consolation. But right now, 3 of the fastest times, or rather 2 of the 3 fastest times in the finals, both held by Kangaroos, led by Claire Kaczynski-Murphy, who will be in lane number 4. The rest of the lane assignments, Janae Miller of Mark Morris is in lane 1. Caitlin Zinsley from Lindbergh is in lane 2. Those two both seniors. Lake Washington senior Jess McKinney will be in lane number 3. The aforementioned Kaczynski-Murphy from Lake Washington in lane 4. Steelicum's Kim Vincent in lane 5. Capitals, Willoughby, a senior. Hansine Willoughby in lane 6. Ann Froelich from Ellensburg in lane 7, a senior. And Rose Ritter of Port Townsend, a sophomore, will be in lane 8. This is actually a senior-dominated field. Just 2 sophomores. Kaczynski-Murphy in lane 4 and Rose Ritter in lane 8. The non-seniors in this 50-yard freestyle final. Clean start in this one, and it's going to be an all-out sprint. We'll see who's got the early advantage coming off of the kick turn. The early advantage off the blocks looked like Froelich from Ellensburg in lane 7 near the bottom of your screen. After the turn, it's neck and neck. My goodness, this one is going to be a battle. Pulling ahead just a little bit is Vincent in 5. We'll see who's got finishing speed, and it is Ann Froelich from Ellensburg out of lane 7 in a time of 25:11. Stunning coming from the bottom of the pack. Kaczynski-Murphy is second in 25:15. Third is Kim Vincent of Steelicum at 25:19. Great swim by Ann Froelich to get the victory. She had one of the better times coming in. In fact, it was the top seed at a time of 25:56 coming into state, but ran a slow 26.06 in the prelims yesterday. Today, she gets the state title in a time of 25.11, knocking about 4/10 off of her seed time coming in. So Froelich putting together a super swim, capturing the 50-yard freestyle. Previous record here at the state meet, 23:29, so that one not in jeopardy here. But congratulations, Anne Froelich, the 50-yard freestyle victor. We now have ourselves the presentation of awards in the 200-yard individual medley. So those will take place momentarily. And then coming up after that, a little change of pace as we will go to the finals of the 1-meter diving competition, as we will see 3 dives each from each of the 24 finalists. Or rather, of the top 16, I should say. Presentations for the awards in the 200-yard individual medley taking place right now. Then our dive competition, the 1-meter diving competition, and following the activity from yesterday, we have 16 swimmers that will each take 3 dives. After the semifinals yesterday, Tori Franzen of Squalicum, the leader, with a 2:77.60. She'll be the one to beat in the 1-meter diving competition. The presentation of the 200-yard IM. Ashley Hune was in 8th place. Kelly Giffey in 7th. Danielle Nelson of Olympic in 6th. Ada Beal from Seton Catholic was 5th. Lorraine Hack out there on the 4th place podium. Kelsey Crane just awarded the 3rd place finish, the sophomore from Clahoya. And in a time of 2:10.24, the 2nd place finisher, Madison Munger, making her way out to the podium right here, high-fiving everybody. As the junior from Sumner, the winner, or rather the runner-up and the winner, winning her 9th state title. The senior from Hawkinson in a time of 2:05.90, Julia Sanders. And she gets a huge round of applause from the crowd here as everyone documenting her 9th state title. Congratulations to our medalists in the 200-yard individual medley. And the 1-meter diving competition coming right up as the competitors all standing underneath the platform. This was the home of the U.S. Olympic team trials earlier this year, the road to London. And that signage plastered about the building here at the King County Aquatic Center. So we'll change our pace up a little bit here. Instead of the swim lanes, we will trade that for the dive tank. And as we mentioned, Tori Franzen, who came in as the top seeded participant at 3:26.05. Led after the semifinals. They ran prelims and semifinals yesterday. And Tori Franzen secured the top spot through those first 8 dives. And right now they are introducing each of those divers in the order that they will dive. McKenna Trohe will dive first. Rachel Howard will dive second. Amara Carnes of Lake Washington will dive third. Olivia Kinniep from Seaholm will dive fourth. Claire Main from Archbishop Murphy is diving fifth. Chelsea Bowles from Tumwater diving sixth. This is Lake Washington's Chev Sharda diving seventh. Elizabeth Livesey from Port Angeles diving eighth. Here's Nadia Popovich from Lake Washington diving ninth. Tori Franzen, that's your leader right there from Squalicum, diving 10th. Archbishop Murphy with a pair of divers. Riley Kruger diving 11th. Sierra Buquette diving 12th. Squalicum's Maddie Crusoe will dive 13th. Aberdeen's Amber Roche will dive 14th. Diving 15th is Fife's Brooke March. And rounding out the finalists, Bellingham's Ellie Kindlin. So that is the diving order. Squalicum's Tori Franzen diving 9th in the order. So each of these competitors diving 8 dives yesterday, and these were the top 16 after those 8 dives. The competition is set up such that each diver shall perform 11 dives in the event. 5 are voluntary, and 6 are optional dives. No more than 1 optional dive from the same grouping of dives is permitted through the first 8 rounds. All 5 groups must be represented in the first 8 rounds. In the first 5 rounds, 2 dives must be voluntary, 3 must be optional. In rounds 6 through 8, which were the semifinals yesterday, 2 dives must be voluntary and 1 must be optional. And now in rounds 9 through 11, the final 3 dives, 1 dive must be voluntary, 2 must be optional. And this dive from Troge McKenna, a forward 1.5 somersault, and we wait for the scores. 5, 5, 5, 4.5, 5, 4.5, and 4.5. 7 judges. And here is Rachel Howard of Tumwater. Degree of difficulty, a 1.7. This is a back somersault, 1.5 twist. And a good one at that. And quickly the judges' scores. 5, 6, 6.5, 5.5, 6, 5.5, and a 6.0. Amara Carnes from Lake Washington now diving a forward double somersault with a degree of difficulty of 2.2. This is the first of 3 final rounds in the diving competition, and that one did not go as planned, I think, for Carnes. Carnes, a 2. You could tell the finish on that one was not the splash looking for. 2, 2, 2.5, 1.0, 1.5, 3, and a 2.0. So Carnes will look to improve upon that heading into the next round. Olivia Kinniep of Seaholm with a forward double somersault, a grand degree of difficulty 2.2, the exact same dive, and this one also a little bit off the mark.
Judges scores, 2 and 1/2, 2 and 1/2, 2 and 1/2, 2 and 1/2, 3.
A lot of 2.5, 4 of those, plus 2 3s and 1 2.0 from the East German judge. Of course, that's just a little Olympic political humor from a couple of decades ago. The 5th diver is Claire Main from Archbishop Murphy with an inward somersault, 1.6 degree of difficulty. And that one looks to have hit the mark. Maine was the 11th seeded qualifier coming in. Scores of 4 1/2, 4 1/2, 5 1/2, a 4, 2 4 1/2s, and a 5 1/2. Here's Chelsea Bowles from Tumwater. She comes in with a 159.40 following the semifinals. She's doing a forward dive here. 1.3 difficulty. And that one a little bit sideways. Some marks will come off for that. A 3, a 4 1/2, 3 1/2, a 4, a 2 1/2, and 2 4s. Here's Shea Sarda from Lake Washington with an inward 1 1/2 somersault, degree of difficulty 2.2. Rather, an adjustment on the score for Chelsea Bowles. An update on those scores. They adjusted, did not post them. Oh, there they are. 3, 3 1/2, 3 1/2, and then they quickly took them down. So a slight adjustment on the scores for Chelsea Bowles. Here's Shea Sarda coming into this one as the second best qualifier overall. This is an inward 1 1/2 somersault, 2.2 degree of difficulty. And good lack of splash on that one. That one will get some good scores, showing why she was the second best competitor coming in from the semifinals. A 5, a couple of 4 1/2s, a 4, 2 more 4 1/2s, and a 4. Here's Elizabeth Livesey from Port Angeles, a forward 1 1/2 twist. Degree of difficulty 1.6. And scores for Livesey's dive. Couple of 2s, a 1 1/2, 3 2 1/2s, and a 2. Here's Nadia Popovich, freshman from Lake Washington, in third place coming into the semifinals with an inward 1 1/2 somersault, 2.2 degree of difficulty. And that one a good dive right there. The scores for Popovich's dive: 5, 5 1/2, 2 4 1/2s, a 4, and then 2 more 4 1/2s. And here's your leader coming in, Tori Franzen from Squalicum, a 2.3 degree of difficulty for this forward somersault with 2 twists. Good dive from Franzen. The finish was not quite as clean as she had wanted, but with the degree of difficulty mixed in there, Franzen shouldn't be hurt by that. She gets a 4, 5 1/2, 5 1/2, a 5 1/2, another 5, and then 2 more 5 1/2. So that will maintain her lead. Here's Archbishop Murphy's Riley Kruger with an inward 1 1/2 somersault, a 2.2 degree of difficulty. Little tuck, but couldn't get fully extended before the entry. Good round of applause here with the judges quickly scoring this one. 3 1/2. Not being able to get that full extension on the entry cost her a little bit. A couple of 3 1/2s, the rest all 4s. And here's Sierra Baquette from Archbishop Murphy, a forward 1 1/2 somersault as well, 1.7 degree of difficulty. A good entry, although a little less than vertical, but the splash was minimal. Scores for Sierra Baquette: 4 1/2, a 5, a couple of 4 1/2s, and then 3 4s rounding out Sierra Baquette's dive. Here's Maddie Crusoe from Squalicum, a 1.6 degree of difficulty for this back dive. Legs were a little bit apart on that one, but getting that one straight into the pool. A little bit off center, the score. A 3, 3.5. Another 3.5, a 3, a 3.5, a 4, and a 3. Here's Amber Roche from Aberdeen with a back somersault. She's the 13th competitor in this competition here in the finals. 3 more divers after Roche. And a good entry that time. A little bit more splash than maybe preferred. But for Roche, scores of 4, 4.5, a 3.5, 3, 4 more, 3, 4.5s, and a 4.0 rounding out the scores. Here's Brooke March from Fife, a freshman. And this one, a forward somersault with a degree of difficulty of 1.5. And gets a nice round of applause from the Fife faithful here. A couple of 4.5s, a 5. A couple of 5.5s, a 5, and another 5.5. Good dive for Brooke March. Here's Ellie Kindland. Kindland from Bellingham with a 1.5 somersault with a twist. Got the entry. That's one of the more gymnastic dives we've seen. A 2.2 degree of difficulty. Of course, the difficulty in all those twists and moves is keeping the body tight and those legs together. She'll get a 3.5 from the first judge with a 4.5, a 2.5, 3.5, a 4, a 4.5, and a 3. So different judges seeing different things in that one. So the first round of 3 in the diving finals now complete. And we go back to the top of the order from McKenna Troje of Sammamish with a back somersault half twist, a 1.7 degree of difficulty. Definitely taking her time on this one and gets that one near vertical, but a little too much more follow through than preferred. Kicking the water to the side. A 3.5 from the first judge. Another 3.5, a 3, a 3.5, 4.5, a 4, and a 3.0. A 1.6 degree of difficulty for an inward somersault from Tumwater's Rachel Howard here. A little bit off vertical. A 5 on that one, so they didn't take much off for being off vertical. A 5, 5, 5.5, 5.5, 5, 5, 5. So good scores on that one, just slightly off on the entry there. Here's Amara Carnes of Lake Washington with a back dive, 1.5 twist. Degree of difficulty, 1.8. Carnes. A 4, 4.5. And third judge is I think the toughest of the bunch. 2.5, and judge 4 with a 3, judge 5 with a 3, a 4, and then a 1.5 from the 7th judge. Wow. Scores all over the board there. Seaholm's Olivia Kinneap, forward dive, 1.3 degree of difficulty, and gets that one to go. And a nice round of applause A little easier dive there in the degree of difficulty scale, but we'll get some good numbers here. A couple of fives, a 4.5, a 5, a 4.5, a 5, and a 4.5. Getting 18.85 points on that one. Here's Archbishop Murphy's Claire Main with an inward 1.5 somersault. Degree of difficulty 2.2. Little fidgety on the board, trying to get locked in for this 1.5 somersault. And that little bit of extra time, I think, paying some dividends there as she got there, but just a little bit short of vertical on the, missing the extension just a little bit, but a nice round of applause for ATM's Claire Murphy, or Claire Main, rather. And she'll collect 25.3 points with scores of 4, 3.5, 4, and 3.5. Here's Chelsea Bowles of Tumwater with a forward double somersault. Degree of difficulty 2.2. Nicely done. A little bit less than vertical, but getting those rotations there and just a little bit short on the rotation. But I think that will be well rewarded with the degree of difficulty of 2.2. A 5.5, a 5, another 5.5, and a bunch of 4.5s. That'll get her 30.8 points on the forward double somersault. Here's Shea Sarda of Lake Washington with a forward somersault. 1.5, or rather a half twist here. A degree of difficulty of 1.7. Sarda, the second best qualifier coming into the finals. And that one a little bit off center, but should draw a decent score. A 4, 4.5, 4.5, a 5, 3.5, 2 5s for a 23.8 score here in the next to last round. And here is Elizabeth Livesey from Port Angeles with an inward somersault, degree of difficulty 1.6. And that one did not go as well as she had hoped.
Judges' scores.
The score is not kind on that one, and I think she knew that one based on the entry. A few zeros on that one. She'll regroup and have another dive and look to finish strong in the final round next. Here's Nadia Popovici from Lake Washington with a back somersault with 1.5 twists. Degree of difficulty 2.3, the highest we've seen so far in the finals. Looked to be a pretty decent dive there. As with the degree of difficulty, should get some points. She was the third best qualifier coming in to the finals. A 5, a 5, 4.5, 5.5, 4.5, and a 5 for a 34.5. That's going to aid her a bit. And here is Tori Franzen, the leader, with a reverse somersault, a 1.6 degree of difficulty. Looking to nail this one. And she does. A good entry. Might have had the toes pointed just a little bit more. Well, at the low degree of difficulty right now, we'll see how that tallies up. A 5, a 5, a 5.5, a 5, 5, and a 4.5 for a score of 24. That should keep her in the lead with one more round to go. She had a pretty commanding advantage at 277.6 coming in, chased by Shea Sarda at 223.60, and then Nadia Popovic at 210.7. This is Riley Kruger with a forward somersault, 1.5, or rather half twist. The degree of difficulty on that for the Archbishop Murphy student, 1.7. And the score for Riley Kruger 4.5, a 3.5, a 4, a 4, a 4, 4.5, and a 3.5. 20 points and 4/10 marked for that one. Here's Archbishop Murphy's Sierra Paquette. A degree of difficulty of 1.7 for a back somersault half twist here. And a good entry that time. You could tell minimal splash. Might have been a little bit off vertical, but should get a good number. 4.5, a 4.5, a 3, a 3.5, a 4, a 3.5, and a 3.5 for an 18.7. Here's a forward double somersault coming from Maddie Crusoe of Squalicum. Degree of difficulty 2.2. Ooh, and that one got the good rotations on the somersaults, but a little bit short of the mark on the entry. A 3.5 from the first judge. And the scores are a bit over the place. 4.5, a 5, a 3.5, a 4, a 5, a 3.5. A very eclectic score there, getting her 36 points, however, with that degree of difficulty. Here's Amber Roche from Aberdeen with a forward somersault with one twist, degree of difficulty 1.9. And a little bit sideways on the entry will probably cost her a little bit.
Judges scores.
3, and a 3, a 2, a 2.5, a 3.5, a 2.5, a 3, 16.15 the total there on that dive. Here's Brooke March from Fife, a 1.7 degree of difficulty for this forward 1.5 somersault. Last couple of divers in this next to last round, and that one a good entry, minimal splash, but not quite as vertical with the legs in there, but still able to reduce the splash. A good looking dive. We'll draw a 4.5, a 4.5. Pretty consistent across the board. 4.5s, 2 5s, and a 4 for a 22.95. And here's Ellie Kindland. She's the last diver, a junior from Bellingham, who came into the finals in 5th place. This is her next to last dive, a back dive, 1.6 degree of difficulty. Taking her time now into the dive, and a good one. Minimal splash, got the good toe touch and decent extension. A little bit sideways going in, a little bit off of vertical, but the judges will look fairly kindly to this one for Ellie Kindland. A 4, 4.5. The rest all 4s for a 19.20. And we move into the 11th and final round, our third and final round of the finals, the 11th and final round of the competition. And McKenna Troje from Sammamish diving a reverse somersault, degree of difficulty 1.6. And it's going to feel pretty good about that final dive. A little bit more splash on the entry than she would have hoped, but hit the mark with good toe extension. And the scores, she'll look good. 5s to start out. Couple of 4.5s, but the rest 5s for a final dive score of 24. And here is Rachel Howard of Tumwater with an inward 1.5 somersault, degree of difficulty 2.2. Howard came into the finals in 4th place. She'll likely finish on the podium, and look at that lack of splash there. A good dive for Rachel Howard. Not as extended as she would like, but that's ripped the entry. She'll get 5s. And a 4.5 in there. A couple 4.5s and a 5.5. But definitely consistent in that scoring. A good number in that dive for Howard. She'll be among the top finishers here in this girls diving championship. Amara Carnes from Lake Washington. A 2.2 degree of difficulty in this inward 1.5 somersault. Good rotation, but over-rotated. A bit too much, pushing that splash. Over-rotation on the entry. And the scores for Carnes. 2.5, 1.5. Not the dive she was looking for in her final outing of the season. 2.5s, 3, 2.5, just a 16.5 on that one. Here's Olivia Kiniep of Seaholm. A forward dive, half twist with a 1.7 degree of difficulty. And a little sideways on the entry, but for Kiniep, who qualified for this meet in 18th, to be able to move up and be in the final 16, a good achievement for her in this tournament, despite how perhaps the last dive may have turned for her, but the scores for Kiniep. And they're waiting for the judges to enter the scores so we can get them posted here. Coming up next will be Claire Maines with her final dive, the Archbishop Murphy sophomore, who was in the middle of the pack. And Olivia's scores 2, 3.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, a 1 and a 1 for an 11.9. So here's Maines with a 1.9 degree of difficulty on a forward somersault with 1 twist. Archbishop Murphy well represented here in the finals with 3 competitors. Lake Washington also with 3. This is a place where they can make up some ground in the team standings. And that one a little bit over-rotated. And for Claire Maine, she was seeded 11th coming in to the competition yesterday based on her seed score. She'll get 4s, 3s, and 3.5s for a 20.9. Here's Chelsea Bowles from Tumwater. Bowles was seeded 14th coming in to the competition, diving an inward somersault with a 1.6 degree of difficulty. Decent entry on that one, was pretty vertical, but a little bit of splash. A 4, a 3.5, even a 5 in the mix. A 5.5, another 5.5, and a couple of 4.5. So a wide array of scores in the final dive for Chelsea Bowles. Here's Shea Sarda from Lake Washington in 2nd place coming into the finals. Try to make up a little bit of ground, but I think maybe locked pretty well in that 2nd place spot with Tori Franzen dominating. A back somersault here coming up with a degree of difficulty of 1.7. Oh, little over rotation, but good height on that dive. But I think that caused the over rotation, as you can tell, definitely some adrenaline here for these competitors on the big stage. For Shea Sarda, a score of 17.85. She gets 3s, 4.5s, and 3.5s on that dive. Here's Elizabeth Livesey from Port Angeles. A back somersault, half twist for a degree of difficulty of 1.7. Livesey was the final qualifier here for the state championships. So getting into the finals, a real coup for her. She'll get a 2.5. A couple of 3s and 3.5, bunch of 2.5s for a 13.6 in her final dive. Here's Nadia Pavici of Lake Washington, a forward double somersault, a degree of difficulty of 2.2. Bovici. Nice rotation, a little under-rotated on the entry, but she'll get a good round of applause. Just a freshman, she'll be back at this competition. She was seeded third coming into the finals. 4.5s, a 4, but the rest 4.5s were 29.7. She'll be on the podium. And here is the one to beat. I think she may have this one in hand already. Tori Franzen of Squalicum doing a forward double somersault, a degree of difficulty of 2.2. The senior in her final dive nails it. Ripped the entry, and I think to wrap up a career on a solid dive in what appears to be a victory in this 1 meter diving competition, she's got to feel good about that. 5.5. We've got 7s. We've got an 8 up there. 5.5, 6.5, 8, 7, 6.5, 6.5, 7.5 for a 44 with that forward double somersault, and that should lock it up for Tori Franzen of Squalicum. A few more divers left to go here as we work on the podium standings here, and those points carrying over. A beautiful dive from Riley Kruger, that reverse somersault, ripped the entry. A 1.6 degree of difficulty, but that's going to get some good numbers for Archbishop Murphy's freshman. Kruger might be looking at the future of diving right there. 4.5s and 5s, a 5.5 thrown into the mix for a 22.4. And here's teammate Sierra Paquette from Archbishop Murphy, a sophomore. This is an inward 1.5 somersault. Good degree of difficulty at 2.2. And a little bit short on the rotation. Didn't get the extension she wanted on the entry. But a good round of applause in the final dive here for Sierra Paquette. 3, 3.5. Some 3s, a couple of 2.5s for a 19.8. Here's Maddie Crusoe in her final dive from Squalicum. A 1.6 degree of difficulty in this inward somersault. 3 more divers to go following this one, and that one a solid entry for Crusoe. Some good numbers, 4.5s, 5s, a couple of 6s as well for a 25.60. The meet record here set last year by Delaney Pugh. Pugh of Fife with a 330.90. Franzen may very well have topped that today. This is Amber Roche's inward somersault. That was a degree of difficulty of 1.6 in her final dive. And the Aberdeen student athlete with a score of 3.5. Some 3s, 2.5 in there, some 3.5s, a score of 16. 2 more divers to go. This is Brooke March of Fife, just a freshman. So getting her first taste of state championship competition. Forward somersault with 1 twist. Little over-rotated on the entry. Looked to be very vertical, but could not rip the entry. A 1.9 degree of difficulty there. 4.5s and 4s. A 1.5 thrown into the mix, a 22.8. And our final dive here is Ellie Kindland of Bellingham. The final dive of the competition, a back somersault with a degree of difficulty of 1.7. Taking her time. And it was worth the effort as she got that one for a solid entry. And a good round of applause as the diving competition here draws to a close. The final scores here, some 5s. It's a 4, a 4.5 for a 23.8. And completing the diving competition, Ellie Kindland of Bellingham with that one. We'll now have a momentary break here as we will tally up the scores and get the diving awards as well as the 50-yard freestyle awards coming up. So we're going to take a break. We're here at the King County Aquatic Center in Federal Way for the WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington Les Schwab Tires 2012 2A Girls State Swim and Dive Championships. We're back in a moment.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
You can enjoy the best moments from this year's OSAA State Championships over and over again. Just purchase a high-quality DVD from PrepFilms.com. Order online from PrepFilms.com and you'll get an enhanced version that includes scoreboard graphics. PrepFilms.com also has an extensive archive of past OSAA State Championships. PrepFilms.com, your online home for OSAA State Championship video.
Championship finalists in the 53 should be in the sweat ready to go for their awards. And championship finalists, top 8 and diving should be in their sweat ready to go for their awards. Coaches, one more reminder before we begin the next two awards presentations. The dive tank, once it is set up, is going to be open for general warm-up for the remainder of the meet. You are responsible for your swimmers that are warming up there. Taylor Sundstrom, you need to be over here right away for the boys presentation.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington Les Schwab Tires 2012 2A 1-meter diving champions. Awards today are presented by Coach Taylor Sundstrom for Schwab.
Back in Federal Way here for the WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington Les Schwab Tires 2012 2A Girls State Swim and Dive Championships. We've completed 5 of our 12 events, the most recent one, the Diving Championships, and the presentation of those awards being done now. We'll also have the presentation of the 50-yard freestyle finals as well momentarily, but the Girls Diving Championships, the 8th place winner, or the 8th place recipient, Trojan McKenna of Sammamish at 2:51.10. And here comes 7th place finisher Maddie Crusoe of Squalicum, 2:56.05. And here's junior Ellie Kindland from Bellingham, finishing in 6th with a 260.60. The 5th place finisher is Riley Kruger of Archbishop Murphy with a score of 263.75. Just a freshman. She'll be back, but a nice 5th place finish here for the youngster. In 4th place is Shea Sarda for Lake Washington, as the Kangaroos getting 2 on the podium here today. This is the first one, Shea Sarda with a 294.95. In 3rd place will be Rachel Howard of Tumwater at 295.75. And in 2nd place, Nadia Povici of Lake Washington. So 2 Kangaroos in the top 4. That's going to add some points to their lead in the team competition. More on that in a moment. Nadia Povici with a 304.60. And your winner today from Squalicum, last year's runner-up, Tori Franzen, with a score of 383.55. That score sets a new meet record here in the 2As. Previous best was a 330 by last year's winner Delaney Pugh of Fife, but there's a new leader here, and that is Tori Franzen with a 383.55. What a mark. What a performance by Franzen. Your winners here, your champions in the 1-meter diving competition. Tori Franzen, way to go in your final dive here in the state competition. She was runner-up last year to the winner Delaney Pugh. Delaney Pugh, a 2-time champion, so Franzen getting her moment in the sun here. Congratulations. The team competition prior to the diving had Lake Washington leading with 81 points, Sumner in 2nd place with 75 points, Ellensburg in 3rd place at 59, Seaholm with 52, Mark Morris in 5th at 43, and in a tie for 5th place with Mark Morris was Port Angeles with 43, Squalicum with 40. But with Lake Washington picking up finishes in 2nd and in 4th place, no doubt we'll be moving up and solidifying that lead over Sumner and the rest of the crew. We'll update that one coming up after we have another event on its way in a few moments. We'll have the 100 Butterfly coming up. But first, we're going to award the medalists in the 50-yard freestyle. And those will be coming out in just one moment. The 50-yard freestyle swam about 40 minutes ago. And we continue to keep an eye, as we mentioned, on those team standings. And we're seeing a lot of Lake Washington Kangaroos in there, a team that was thought to be primed and poised to do well. And so far in the early going, they've done it, as they place a couple of top 4 finishes in the diving competition. They also do it here, a couple in the top 8 in the 50-yard freestyle. But it's Rose Ritter of Port Townsend who finishes in 8th place with a time of 26.15 in the super sprint. And then it is Lake Washington's Jessica McKinney adding some points to that growing Kangaroo lead, finishing in 7th place with a 25.81. Janae Miller from Mark Morris, 6th at 25 seconds, .69. Lindbergh's Caitlin Zinsley in 5th place with a time of 25.65. In 4th place will be Hansine Willoughby from Capital, a senior, in her final swim, capturing 4th place in a time of 25.41. In 3rd place, it's Steelicum's Kim Vincent, time of 25.19. In fact, the distance between the winner and 3rd place, 8/100ths of a second. The 2nd place finisher, another Kangaroo, Lake Washington's Kaczynski Murphy, in a time of 25:15. Claire Kaczynski Murphy. And the winner of the 50-yard freestyle from Ellensburg was the top-seeded competitor coming in a time of 25.11, the 2A champion, Ann Froelich. So there are your medalists in the 50-yard freestyle. And we now move on to the swim lanes once again. As back to individual competition. The next two events at the distance of 100 yards. First up, the 100-yard butterfly, followed by the 100-yard freestyle. And first up in the 100-yard butterfly will be the consolation matchup. And that will be led by Olivia Nielsen of Squalicum in lane 4. The fastest qualifier in the consolation round in a time of 1 minute, 2 seconds, .70. The rest of the lane assignments in the consolation heat of the 100-yard butterfly, Lillian Kurzal of Washington in lane number 1, a freshman. Kiana Doris of Fife, a sophomore, in lane 2. Capitals, Maddie Hoffman, a junior, in lane 3. Nielsen is in lane 4. Claire McCloskey from Archbishop Murphy in lane 5. Eidenmuller of Capital, a sophomore, will be in lane 6. Danielle Nilsson in lane 7 from Olympic. And in lane 8, West Valley of Yakima's Laurel Feldman. So points to be earned here in the team competition. Right now it is Lake Washington leading the way. Everyone else trying to play catch up between Sumner, Ellensburg, Seaholm, Mark Morrison, Port Angeles. Those the top 5. And we're underway in the 100-yard butterfly consolation. The meet record set by the defending champion in this event, who will swim in the final heat, Julia Sanders. She set it last year at a time of 56:29. Four lengths of the pool swam here in the 100-yard butterfly. And touching in first is Capital's Eidenmuller in lane 6 in a time of 28:95 at the midway mark. Squalicum's Nielsen in lane 4, not too far behind. 3/4 of the way home here in the final flip turn in the consolation heat of the 100-yard butterfly. Right now, it's all Olivia Nielsen of Squalicum. The field trying to catch up to her, but with 10 yards to go, the only question is going to be the time. Nielsen tapping in at 1:02.18. Second place, Hoffman of Capital in 1:03.86. And in third place in the consolation heat, Nelson from Olympic in lane 7 in a time of 1:03.90. So to the finals we go. And this one is going to be a very interesting battle, as here come the March of the Champions. In the finals, it is the defending champion and meet record holder, already a winner in the 200-yard individual medley, senior from Hawkinson, Julia Sanders. She'll be in lane number 4 and qualified with the fastest time of 58.02. Last year, she won it in that meet record time of 56.29, but she'll have some stiff competition. Ann Froelich, who won the 50-yard freestyle, will be in lane number 1, the senior from Ellensburg. This is an upperclassman-dominated field, just one junior in the mix, the rest all seniors. Kim Vincent of Stillicum will be in lane 2. Lorraine Hack of Tumwater is in lane 3. Sanders in lane 4. Madison Munger will be in lane 5. She is the lone non-senior, but she is a junior from Sumner, clocking the second best preliminary time In lane 6, it'll be Haley Rankin, a senior from Prosser. Alexi Medley in lane 7, and Tala Hild of Renton will be in lane 8. The 100-yard Butterfly Final. Julia Sanders going for her 10th state championship. Came into the meet with 8, has already collected 1. This is the other one on her docket, the 100 Butterfly. Keep your eyes on lane 4. Lanes numbered from the top of the screen on down, 1 through 8. And a good start here in the Butterfly for Sanders in lane 4. Out to the early advantage off the blocks. The turn, and it is coming up. Sanders in the lead. Nearing the midway mark. A split time for Sanders of 26 seconds and 14/100ths. Second place in lane 3, Lorraine Hack. And trailing in third, Alexis Medley in lane 7. Sanders looking for her 10th state championship, 25 yards away. She's got a near body length lead over the nearest competitor. Sanders 10 yards away from her 10th state title. She's done it, 56-61. Second place, Tumwater's Lorraine Hack at 59.25, and Sumner's Madison Munger in third at 59.66. Those were the 3 competitors finishing in under a minute. The 56.61, just off the meet record pace of 56.29 she established last year, but good enough for her 10th state championship. Congratulations, Julia Sanders. Coming up next, we'll have a presentation of the Dick Lefebvre Award, followed by another disability swim, the 50-yard backstroke coming up, and then following that, it'll be the 100-yard freestyle, consolation and finals. But congratulations to Hawkinson's Julia Sanders, her second title of the meet in the 100-yard butterfly, 10-time champion overall. The Dick Lefebvre Award being presented right now. We'll see if we can turn it up and you can hear the PA announcement.
Swimming history. He contributed both his time and expertise as a stroke and turn judge, meet starter, and meet referee for over 30 years in dual league district meets as well as state championships. Dick was the meet referee for Washington State High School Swim and Dive Championships from 1977 to 2008. The Dick Lefebvre Commendation Award is in honor of one of Washington High School Swimming's most beloved volunteers. Recipients of the award must have also demonstrated the same passion for giving as the award's namesake. This year's recipient exemplifies what are going to be described as a model of a selfless community volunteer who over the years has given countless hours of time spent untold amounts of personal finances as well as spending time away with her family to assure that the highest standards of appreciating are available to Washington High School swim and dive competitions. She is known to be a strong advocate for high school swimming. What began as a swim parent getting involved in the sport has led to an impeccable career as a meet official. She is beloved and respected by her officiating peers. Being very deserving of the Dick Lefebvre Consolation Award, it gives me great pleasure to announce Terry White as this year's recipient. Terry will be presented the award at the Boys State Championship meet in February. And right now, I'd like to say, let's give a hand to all our officials and volunteers for their time and service. Thank you.
And that was a presentation of the Dick Lefebvre Award. Terry White being honored here. What a wonderful award to recognize those that have put in the blood, sweat, tears, and time here in support of the competitions here in the WIAA, and just a continuing recognition of those that continue to make these things possible and these events able to happen. Terry White, congratulations on the Dick Lefebvre Award. So now moving on, we will have the disability swim in the 50-yard backstroke, followed by the consolation heat in the 100-yard freestyle, then the final of the 100-yard freestyle. And again, we welcome back our disability competitors, Kaylee Sieber of Kentwood and Sierra Landholm of Fife. Sierra winning the disability swim in the 50 free earlier today. In lane number 4 is Sierra Landholm. Kaylee Sieber of Kentwood is in lane number 5. They'll go down and back. Backstroke competition. Courageous effort for these two competitors. Not just in the pool, but of course the challenges they face every day. And to them we say congratulations and thank you for your dedication and your effort, your performance, your commitment, and setting an exemplary model for all our other students and student athletes. And a tremendous round of applause here as the 50-yard disability swim back is won by Sierra Landholm of Fife, and here is Kaylee Sieber of Kentwood finishing up. And that has to be probably one of my favorite events of this meet, is seeing these folks overcome the adversities that they face and continue to showcase to all of us how to live. So congratulations to Kaylee Sieber and Sierra Landholm as we now move to our next competition. It is the 100-yard freestyle, the consolation heat, featuring Annika Stoker in lane 4, the top qualifier in this one. She'll be joined by Riley Martin in lane 1 of Sammamish, Tumwater's Alex Cummings in lane 2, Molly McGuire of Seaholm in lane 3, Ashley Reed of Port Angeles, a junior, in lane 5, senior Erica Smith is in lane 6, Blair Zegan in lane 7, a freshman from Sammamish, and Fife's Zuleika Lopez Cruz is in lane 8 in this consolation heat. 4 lengths of the pool in the 100-yard freestyle. The consolation matchup, one of 3 consolation, or rather 2 consolation heats. Or rather, 2 heats overall in the 100-yard freestyle. Ashley Reed is in lane number 4. And she had a good turn at the split. Rose Ritter from Port Townsend in lane 3 and Alex Cummings in lane 5. Right now in lane number 4, it is Port Angeles' Ashley Reed here in the consolation matchup. She's got a good lead. Looks like she will finish strong. And Reed finishes in a time of 57:03. Rose Ritter for Port Townsend is second in lane 3 with a time of 58:24. Erica Smith is third with a time of 58.40. Fourth place in this heat, Genesee Schultz from Capital in lane 7. In lane 5, finishing 5th, is Tumwater's Alex Cummings. And to the final heat in the 100-yard freestyle. Abby Sullivan of Tumwater is going to be the one to beat, the top qualifying time of 53.40. As our March of Champions underway here, there are our final 8 competitors. As we mentioned, Sullivan from Tumwater, the favorite here. but it's going to be a tough field. As Taylor Wilson, who will be right next to her, finishing just 5/100ths of a second behind her. So it's going to be a battle in this 100-yard freestyle final. Here are the lane assignments. In lane number 1, Sarita Solis, a freshman from North Kitsap. In lane number 2, Kelly Giffey from WF West, a senior. Caitlin Quamps from West Valley of Yakima, can't count her out, the freshman, seated 3rd. She'll be in lane 3. The aforementioned Sullivan in lane 4. Taylor Wilson in lane 5. The sophomore from Ellensburg, Annika Stoker from Tumwater, will be in lane 6, the senior there. Jess McKinney from Lake Washington in lane 7, and Janae Miller from Mark Morris will be in lane 8. So the top qualifier was Sullivan. The top seed time coming in was Taylor Wilson. So it's going to be nip and tuck right there in lanes 4 and 5. Meet record set in 2007 by Amelia Messegri. Time of 50.99. And a clean start here and off to a fast advantage is Wilson in lane number 5. Coming off the kick turn. Wilson, the slightest of advantages. We'll see how they hit at the split halfway through. Touching first, it's Sullivan in a time of 25:37, just 1/100th behind is Wilson of Ellensburg. 1/100th of a second behind at the midway mark. In 3rd place, Caitlin Quampt in lane number 3, but this one's going to be a battle between Sullivan and Wilson. Pulling in front, though, Abby Sullivan. Does Wilson have a kick? It's going to be close. And it's going to be Abby Sullivan, 52:38. Wilson gets second at 52:88, a half second behind. And 3rd place goes to Caitlin Quampt in lane number 3 from West Valley in a time of 54:05. Sullivan, your winner, at 52:38. Betters her preliminary time by better than a second. So Abby Sullivan with that big win there, getting some points for Tumwater. They need that in the team competition. They'll get a couple of finalists in there as Annika Stoker sneaks in for 4th from Tumwater. Lake Washington, who's leading the competition, gets a 7th place finish to add some points there. So congratulations, Abby Sullivan, with the win. The 500-yard freestyle is coming up momentarily, but first we're going to have the presentation of the awards in the 100-yard butterfly. Coming up next, Kelsey Crane, the defending champion in the 500-yard freestyle, will be front and center.
That was so... Oh, really? Nice job.
First, the presentation of the awards. In the 100-yard butterfly. 8th place is Kim Vinson of Steilacoom, time of 102.92. Tala Hild of Renton is the 7th place finisher in a time of 102.38. Ann Froelich is the 6th place finisher, the veteran from Ellensburg, in a time of 101.91. Froelich, the winner in the 50-yard freestyle earlier, capturing the 6th place finish in this one. 5th place is held by Zilla's Alexis Mendelez in time of 101.24. 4th place is Haley Rankin, a senior from Prosser, in a time of 1 minute and 79/100ths. And your top 3 finishers in this one. The 100-yard butterfly, Madison Munger of Sumner, the junior, with a time of 59.66. Tumwater's Lorraine Hack capturing 2nd in a time of 59.25. And the champion in the 100-yard butterfly, defending her state title, is Hawkinson senior Julia Sanders as she captures her second state title in this competition, her 10th state title overall. And here is the coronation of Julia Sanders.
Julia Sanders becomes the first 2A swimmer in their 4 years at state with a maximum of 8 championships. Julia Sanders has won 8 championships.
Sanders winning this event for the 4th consecutive year. She has dominated this field, winning in 2009, 2010, setting the meet record last year at 2011, and capturing her 4th consecutive title in the 200-yard, or rather the 100-yard butterfly at the 2A classification. Congratulations on what a career from Hawkinson's Julia Sanders. So here we go to the 500-yard freestyle. This is the consolation heat. But first we're going to have our presentation of the disability swim, 50-yard backstroke. And we'll ask Kaylee Sieber and Sierra Landholm as well, once again, to come front and center. But up next it is the distance race, the 500-yard freestyle. Well, Kelsey Crane will defend her state title in the second of the 2 heats. First, the presentation of the medals in the disability swim, 50-yard backstroke. As second place going to Kaylee Sieber of Kentwood. And here is Fife's Sierra Landholm, winning the 50-yard backstroke disability swim. So Sieber and Landholm, congratulations to them on their participation and their recognition here at the 2A Girls State Swim and Dives Championships. The 500-yard freestyle consolation heat coming up here momentarily. And in this one, we'll keep an eye on lane 4 with Sam Dennison of Ellensburg, the freshman, with the best time in the prelims in this consolation heat of 5 minutes 39 seconds and 4 100ths. The rest of the lane assignments, Gabby Flock from Clarkston will be in lane 1. The lanes numbered from the top of your screen on down, 1 through 8. Kaylee Gustafson from Sumner will be in lane 2. Claire McCloskey will be in lane 3. She's from Archbishop Murphy. Sam Dennison of Ellensburg, we mentioned her in lane 4. Esme Midaw from Pullman in lane 5. Megan Smith will be in lane 6. She's from Clover Park. Capitals Madeline Hoffman in lane 7, and Lindsay Giffey from WF West will be in lane 8. The 500-yard freestyle consolation heat. The finals coming up next. This one typically takes in the vicinity of 5.5 to 6 minutes to complete. A clean start by all our competitors. 20 lengths of the pool. And we'll check in with those split times as we go. The 500-yard freestyle. Natalie Ruiz of Othello setting the 2A Girls Championship meet record back in 2010 in a time of 5:00.85. So 5 minutes and 84 100ths of a second. Ruiz had quite the swim that year in 2008. The overall state meet record in the 500 freestyle set by Jackson's Amber McDermott in 2009 in 4 minutes, 41 seconds. .98. Checking in on our latest split, 4 lengths of the pool down. So 20% of the way there, and it is leading this one Megan Smith of Clover Park in lane number 6. Five lengths of 20 now done. We'll try to get you an update in the team competition. This is the 500-yard freestyle. It is event number 8. And nearing the midway mark of this consolation heat. Now moving out in front is Sam Dennison in lane 4 after an early lead by Megan Smith of Clover Park. Midway mark of this one, Sam Dennison. Well, not quite the midway mark yet. We're just about there. But the latest split, Sam Dennison in first. Megan Smith in lane 6 second. And Midaw of Pullman in lane number 5 in third. Now we're coming up on the midway mark of this consolation heat. The grueling 500-yard freestyle. And halfway through, it is Dennison in lane 4 in a time of 2:43.78. Clover Park's Megan Smith in lane 6, trailing 2:46.37. And Midaw Pullman not too far behind, less than a second behind Smith in lane number 5. You can see him pretty neck and neck there. Ellensburg's Sam Dennison continuing to extend this lead. Try to update you here through 5 of events. We're in event number 8, but in the team score competition, or in the team competition, Lake Washington, following the diving competition, had a commanding lead of 117 over Sumner in second place with 75. Squalicum tightly packed in there at 72. Ellensburg at 59. Seaholm at 54. And Tumwater in 6th place with 49 points. Port Angeles 7th with 44. And Mark Morris in 8th place with 43. But that was after 5 events. Of course, since then we've run the 100-yard butterfly and the 100-yard freestyle, so that's going to change up a little bit. We'll try to get another update here fairly soon. The 500-yard freestyle consolation heat. Dennison in 4 continuing to move this one out. The bell lap coming up the next time down. Dennison in first at 4:26.16. Midaw Pullman in lane 5 second at 4:30.92. Clover Park Smith right now in third place with a time of 4:33.41. So Dennison, who came in with the top preliminary time in this heat, getting the bell for the final lap of the pool. Clocking in at 5 minutes and 57 100ths there at the turn. 6 seconds back is Midaw Pullman. 2 seconds behind her, Smith of Clover Park. It's lanes 4, 5, and 6 right now. 10 yards to go here for Sam Dennison in this 500-yard freestyle consolation heat. And she'll clock in with a time of 5:33.92. Second in this heat will go to Middaugh of Pullman in lane 5, 5:40.69. And Clover Park's Megan Smith, who had the early lead, finishes third in this consolation heat in a time of 5:43.28. For Sam Dennison, she took nearly 6 seconds off her preliminary time of 5:39. Here she clocks in at 5 minutes 33 seconds in 92/100. So congratulations to Sam Dennison, the winner of the consolation heat. And now we move to the 500-yard freestyle finals. And here is your March of the Champions, the entry of the competitors, the 8 competitors in this 500-yard freestyle. Kelsey Crane, the defending champion. She won it as a freshman last year. She's going for a double here as a sophomore. She is the leading qualifier by better than 5 seconds over the nearest competitor. Out of La Jolla, she clocked a 5:19.32 yesterday. The rest of the lane assignments in lane number 1, junior Keisha Matz of WF West. Archbishop Murphy's Kaylee McCloskey will be in lane number 2. Gabrielle Godlewski will be in lane number 3. Kelsey Crane, we mentioned her. She'll be in lane number 4. In lane 5, Madeline Gilman out of Bellingham. Lane 6, Gwendolyn Rowley from Seaholm. She was a winner earlier today in the 200-yard freestyle. Hanson Willoughby will be in lane 7 from Capital, and Alicia Hughes will round out the field. A senior from Pullman in lane 8 in the 500-yard freestyle. Coming up after this, we'll have the awards for the 100 freestyle, and then it's the 200-yard freestyle competition. 200-yard free relay is coming up next. A good clean start here in the beginning of this 500-yard final. And as expected, Kelsey Crane, the early advantage. The first split, 27 seconds, 0.43. In second place, Gabrielle Godlewski in lane 3. And in third place in the early going, McCloskey from Archbishop Murphy in lane 2. But a long way to go in this race that will take 20 lengths of the pool. 4 of them done, or nearly complete, I should say. 20% of the way there. Flip turn from Kelsey Crane, the defending champ, clocking in at 57.61, the only one under 1 minute, 1 second at the split. So she's opening up a big advantage and looking to add to it. Any question as to whether the meet record might be in jeopardy? That's going to be a tall order, as Crane, who's won it last year in a time of 5:15, hit a 5:19 in the preliminaries. The meet record, a time of 5 minutes flat. And 84/100ths in that mix. Last year, the winner, Kelsey Crane. Haley Rankin of Prosser was second. Riley Martin of Squalicum was third. Claire McCloskey finished 6th. She's in this field, as is Gwendolyn Rowley of Seaholm, who finished 7th last year. And they are in this field. The latest split here as Kelsey Crane in first place, second place to Rowley, and third place to Godlewski. But Crane continuing to power through as just about halfway home here in the 500-yard freestyle. Midway mark, the split for Kelsey Crane, 2:33.80. In second, Gwendolyn Rowley down in lane 6 at 2:40.03. WF West's Gabrielle Godlewski in lane 3 in third place at 2 minutes and 40 seconds at that last split. But it's all Kelsey Crane right now. Her time last year in the championships was the 6th best overall. Crane trying to set out to do something that Julia Sanders of Hawkinson did. Hawkinson winning the 100 butterfly just a few minutes ago for the 4th consecutive year. Kelsey Crane winning this event as a freshman last year, has a big lead as a sophomore this year, trying to match that over the next couple of years. We'll see how things shape up, but right now looking good for the repeat. 3:39.70 at that last touch. Got 5 more lengths of the pool to go for Kelsey Crane. Right now in second place, it's still Gwendolyn Rowley in lane 6. But a battle for that second spot there in lanes 3, 5, and 6. Crane, 4:13.36 at the split. The battle for second place has Gilman in lane 5 leading. Rowley in lane 6, just 5 100ths behind, and a little bit behind that in lane 3, Godlewski. Crane will get the bell here at the other end, but the battle really right now for second place between 3 competitors. Crane on her way to a repeat here, barring any misfortune. Her last split, 4 minutes, 47 seconds. Gilman in lane 5, narrowly in second behind Rowley in lane 6. And Godlewski in lane 3. Crane. Just a few more yards to go for her second consecutive championship in the 500-yard freestyle. And right now, touching in a time of 5:19.17. The battle for second, we'll see who gets it. It'll be Gilman from Bellingham in lane number 5 with a time of 5:23, just narrowly outreaching Gwendolyn Rowley for second place. Rowley will get third. In fourth, it is Gabrielle Godlewski in lane 3. Fifth place going to McCloskey from Archbishop Murphy in lane 2. What a finish. And what a win for Kelsey Crane. She was the heavy favorite coming in, and she did not disappoint, winning her second consecutive 500-yard freestyle championship. Coming up, our next event will be the 200-yard freestyle relay. So back to relay action. We have 4 more events to go. 2 relays, 2 individual events. We'll have an awards presentation prior to that, however, as it will be the awards for the 100 freestyle.
Hi, we're Chris
and Anna Groneveld, local dairy farmers from Monroe, Washington.
The Dairy Farmers of Washington, along with Les Schwab Tires, are proud co-title sponsors of the WIAA High School State Championships.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association supports high school programs and activities that keep our kids growing in mind and body.
Today's high school students will be some of tomorrow's community leaders, and we feel it is important to do our part in helping foster an appreciation of community, responsibility, teamwork, and sportsmanship in today's youth.
The WIAA helps provide those opportunities through athletic, artistic, and academic competition.
Please join the Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires in supporting young people in your community by attending your local high school state championships.
For a complete list of events and activities in your area, visit WIAA.com.
You can enjoy the best moments from this year's OSAA State Championships over and over again. Just purchase a high-quality DVD from PrepFilms.com. Order online from PrepFilms.com and you'll get an enhanced version that includes scoreboard graphics. PrepFilms.com also has an extensive archive of past OSAA state championships. PrepFilms.com, your online home for OSAA state championship video.
Back in Federal Way at the Weyerhaeuser King County Aquatic Center, Alex Webster along with you here at the WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington, Les Schwab Tires 2012 2A Girls State Swim and Dive Championships. 8 of our 12 events in the books. These are the award presentations for the 100-yard freestyle. Sarita Solis finishing in 8th place for North Kitsap. Lake Washington's Jessica McKinney in 7th place. You see the award presented to her just a moment ago. Kelly Giffey from WF West is the 6th place finisher, and here she comes. Janae Miller of Mark Morris was 5th. Annika Stoker from Tumwater was the 4th place finisher. West Valley of Yakima had the 3rd place finish. Caitlin Quamps in a time of 54.05. Coming up next will be the 200-yard freestyle relay. Big points on the line there. Taylor Wilson of Ellensburg getting 2nd place in the 100-yard freestyle. And the champion in the 100-yard freestyle in a time of 52.38, Tumwater's Abby Sullivan. So there are your medalists in the 100-yard freestyle. Let's get you up to speed on the team competition. After 8 events, all of those that we have in the book, it is Lake Washington leading the way with 129 points. Tumwater currently 2nd with 105 points. And with the relays coming up, a lot of points on the line. Ellensburg is 3rd currently with 98 points. Sumner in 4th place with 94. Squalicum in 5th place with 81. Seaholm has 72. They're in 6th place. Capital is in 7th with 69. WF West just a point behind in 8th place with 68. Mark Morris is in 9th with 58 points, and rounding out the top 10, Port Angeles is 10th with 53 points with 4 more events to go. So the Kangaroos of Lake Washington in the catbird seat, if you will, as they drive things home. And here we go to the 200-yard freestyle relay, and Tumwater, who is currently in 2nd place, posted the fastest qualifying time. They will race in the 2nd heat, but they will need those points. Lake Washington will also be in that final heat, trying to capture some points and stave off the Tumwater attack. Lake Washington qualifying with the 7th best time in that final. So Tumwater with an opportunity to play a little catch-up coming up in the next heat. In this heat, it's the Consolation Final. Aberdeen clocking the best time at 1:48.78. They'll be in lane 4. In lane 1 will be Pullman at the top of your screen. Sammamish will be in lane 2. Renton in lane 3. Hawkinson in lane 5. Port Townsend will be in lane 6. Sela in lane 7. And Bellingham rounding out the field in lane 8. Keep your eye on Aberdeen in the middle. Naomi Wolfenberger will lead things off, a sophomore, followed by Kayla Holt, a junior, and then Danielle Rowe, a sophomore, and then Shayna Wilson, a senior for Aberdeen. But Hawkinson should get out to a fast start. They'll be in lane number 5 as Julia Sanders, the 10-time state champion and winner already today of the 200 IM and the 100 Butterfly, will have the opening leg. So Hawkinson should come out of this one with an early advantage, but the depth for Hawkinson not nearly as deep as some of the other leading teams, and so they will likely fall off a little bit there. And a clean start in the Consolation heat of the 200-yard freestyle relay. After this one, it'll be the 100-yard breaststroke, and then the final individual competition. Sorry, it will be the 100-yard backstroke, followed by the 100-yard breaststroke, and then we'll cap things off with the 400-yard freestyle relay, and then the awarding of our team champions. In lane 6, with a fast lead, Port Townsend. They get in there, the transition made. 26:49 for Port Townsend. Hawkinson changing things up a little bit, maybe having Sanders swim the final leg. She did not start in this one, and they come in the 8th spot. So nearing the midway mark of the 4x50-yard freestyle, better known as the 200-yard freestyle relay. And in lane 6, it is Port Townsend that will touch in with a time of 53:93. Sammamish in lane 2 in 2nd, and Aberdeen, the early favorite, in lane 4 in 3rd place. Aberdeen starting to catch up, however. Port Townsend starting to fade. This looks like where Aberdeen's going to take over a little bit, but good challenge from Sammamish in lane 2. Touching the wall first, Aberdeen at 1:21.59 with the final exchange here. Port Townsend second in lane 6 at 1:21.97. Sammamish in lane 2 in 3rd. Here is the final stretch. Sammamish in lane 2. Aberdeen in lane 4. This is going to be a battle. 5 teams competing for it. Who's going to reach to the wall in time? Hawkinson, the winner, 1:47.62. Julia Sanders, I believe, swimming that final leg, able to close the gap. My goodness, Hawkinson, the winner at 1:47.62. Port Townsend second at 1:48.21. Sammamish third, 1:48.45. But the top 5 finishers all within 1 second of each other. What a finish in that consolation heat in the 200-yard freestyle relay. And now the final of this relay, and we can only hope for a competition as tight as that one here. But Tumwater would like to blow the doors off as they are trying to catch up to Lake Washington in the team standings. Tumwater, the leading qualifier, as you see the march of competitors here to the starting blocks. Tumwater, the fastest qualifying time of 1:41.77. They'll do battle with defending champion Sumner in this relay race. Sumner winning it last year, but they were the 3rd overall qualifier. They'll be in lane 3. Capital, the 2nd fastest qualifier, will be in lane number 5. The rest of the lineup, Squalicum will be in lane number 1. Lake Washington, who's currently leading the 2A championship team competition, will be in lane 2, trying to pick up some points as well to try and hold off Tumwater. Sumner, we mentioned, in lane 3. Tumwater also in lane 4. Capital in 5. Mark Morris will battle in lane 6. Seaholm will be in lane 7. And Fife in lane 8. We're likely going to have ourselves a new champion this year, as Seaholm, the defending champion, not presently in the thick of things for the team title, but they are in the competition in lane 7 here. So a lot on the line. Tumwater needing the points here. Would like to put some points on the board to close the gap with Lake Washington. Lake Washington in lane 2 trying to maintain their advantage. Annika Stoker swimming the leadoff leg for Tumwater here. They've got a good team with Alex Cummings, Lorraine Hack, and then Abby Sullivan, the winner in the 100-yard freestyle just a little while ago, swimming the anchor leg. So Tumwater will be a formidable team. And they have the early lead on this opening leg, as Stoker will bring it to the wall. Hand it off to Cummings, who hits the water first. A split time of 25:11 for Tumwater. Mark Morris in second, and Sumner in third. Cummings with the narrow advantage for Tumwater. 4 teams nearly neck and neck as they approach the midway mark. Tumwater in first at 51:49. Capital right next to him at 51:96. Third right now, it's Mark Morris in lane 6. The anchor legs for Tumwater will be swum by Abby Sullivan. For Capital, Hansine Willoughby. For Sumner, Madison Munger. These are all top flight swimmers. For Seaholm, it would be Gwendolyn Rowley. And at the wall, Tumwater getting in there with the best time on the split. Second place, Mark Morris. Capital in third. Final stretch here, and Tumwater looks like they've got the lead, the advantage, and is going to finish strong here. Tumwater will win it. Battle for second coming up. And it goes to Mark Morris. Capital is third. Sumner is fourth. Fifth goes to Seaholm. Sixth to Lake Washington. 7 to Squalicum. And Fife will round out the field, finishing eighth. But congratulations to Tumwater as they capture this one in 1:40.61, pulling away. That betters their preliminary time, their qualifying time of 1:41.77. They topped it by over a second. So congratulations, Tumwater. Some much needed points here in the team competition. And the next event up will be the 100-yard backstroke. But first, the awards for the 500-yard freestyle. So a slight transition here. We'll try and update the numbers and see where we've ended up after that relay race in the standings, but those have not been updated as of yet. But coming into that relay, Lake Washington leading with 129 points, Tumwater with 105. That'll be a huge boost for Tumwater's effort. We are going to go ahead and step aside for a moment here from the King County Aquatic Center in Federal Way. We'll be back with the awards presentation for the 500-yard freestyle, as well as live action in the 100-yard backstroke, the championship heat, and the consolation heat coming up after this timeout here on the WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington Les Schwab Tires 2012 2A Girls State Swim and Dive Championships.
At Les Schwab, along with great prices, our tires come with the kind of protection most other places just don't give you, which includes free flat repairs, equal value replacements, pre-trip safety checks, and more for the entire life of the tire. With the other guys, well, you just never know. So why is free protection on your tires good to have?
Lifetime protection. That's our best tire value promise. Les Schwab, doing the right thing since 1952.
Welcome back to the WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington Les Schwab Tires 2012 2A Girls State Swim and Dive Championships, live from the King County Aquatic Center in Federal Way. Alex Webster along with you as we have the presentation of the 500-yard freestyle champions. Following this presentation, we'll have the consolation heat in the 100-yard backstroke and then the finals in the 100-yard backstroke. Catching you up on the medalists in the 500-yard freestyle. Keisha Matz from WF West, the 8th place finisher. Alicia Hughes from Pullman finishing 7th. Hansine Willoughby, the 6th place finisher. The 5th place finisher, Archbishop Murphys, Kayla McCloskey. Gabrielle Gadlewski from WF West is the 4th place finisher. In 3rd place, Gwendolyn Rowley from Seaholm. In 2nd place, it is Bellingham's Madeline Gilman. Being presented right there. And the champion in the 500-yard freestyle is the defending champion from Clajoya, Kelsey Crane, in the winning time of 5 minutes, 19 seconds, and 17/100ths. Picking up her 2nd championship in this event in as many years. And she'll see if she can do what Julia Sanders has done, and that is dominate the event over her 4 years. Sanders doing that in the 100 butterfly, sealing that earlier. And now Kelsey Crane halfway there to matching Sanders' 4-peat. She gets a repeat of the 500-yard freestyle championship here. There are your medalists in the 500-yard freestyle. And our next event on the docket, we have 3 to go. The next one is the 100-yard backstroke, followed by the 100-yard breaststroke, and then the 400-yard freestyle relay will close down the 2A championships this year. So the 100-yard backstroke in the consolation heat, Ashley Reed is the top qualifier here. In the finals, Abby Sullivan of Tumwater, the top qualifier as well. She came in as the top seed at 59.33, and yesterday she swam a 59.78. And she should get a good challenge from Caitlin Quamps and Tracy Macias in that particular heat. But first, it is the consolation matchup. Ashley Reed in lane 4 from Port Angeles, the favorite. The rest of the field, Alexandria Putzer from Black Hills in lane 1. Pullman's Esme Middaw in lane 2. Squalicum's Olivia Nielsen in lane 3. Reed we mentioned in lane 4. Kaylee McCloskey in lane 5 from Archbishop Murphy. Cedar Woolley's Rachel Olson in lane 6. Woodridge's Maddie Green in lane 7, and Capitol's Jada Pearson in lane 8. 100-yard backstroke, down and back, down and back. And the early advantage to Ashley Reed, coming off of that first turn. Nearly a body length advantage as she'll touch the wall first in a time of 29.83. Second, Rachel Olson in lane 6. And down at the bottom of your screen, Jada Pearson in lane 8 in third place at the midway mark. Nearly 3/4 of the way home. And it is all Ashley Reed in this one. 10 yards to go, and the battle will be for second place. It's going to be tight, but the winner will be Ashley Reed in a time of 103.05. Second will go to McCloskey of Archbishop Murphy in a time of 104.98. In lane 3, Nielsen of Squalicum picks up third, and in fourth place, Olson of Cedro Woolley in lane 6. And here come the championship finalists in the 100-yard backstroke. And in the team competition, things have tightened up after Tumwater's win in the 200-yard freestyle relay. 10 points now separating Lake Washington and Tumwater. It's L-Dub 155, Tumwater 145, Sumner a little bit back at 124, Squalicum at 105. Those are your top 4 in the team competitions through the 200-yard freestyle relay, the last event. So right now, some points to be had for Tumwater as Abby Sullivan, the leading qualifier and the favorite in this event from Tumwater, could put her team into the lead with a win here. Lake Washington, though, with 2 competitors in this field, Kaczynski Murray in lane 6 and Gabrielle Rector in lane 7. So we'll see. Would a victory by Tumwater matched by a couple of places for Lake Washington? How will that add up in the point totals? But a 10-point lead for Lake Washington over Tumwater as we head to this final heat. Shirley Lamb will be in lane 1 from Seaholm. Alicia Hummel for Ellensburg in lane 2. Tracy Macias from Port Angeles in lane 3. The aforementioned Abby Sullivan in lane 4. Caitlin Quamps from West Valley of Yakima in lane 5. Kaczynski Murphy is in lane 6. Rector in lane 7. And in lane 8 is Masolinikova from Mark Morris. All eyes, though, in lane 4 on Abby Sullivan. This one may come down to the relay final in this team competition. Quarter of the way in, and the advantage right now, it is a tight one. Most of this field pretty much neck and neck. We'll see who has the advantage halfway through here. And it is Abby Sullivan at 28.77. Less than a second behind Quamps in lane 5. And Kozinski Murphy for Lake Washington in third in lane 6. 25 yards to go, and it looks like Sullivan expanding on her lead nearly a body length. A battle for second behind her, or can somebody catch her? I don't think they will. 10 yards to go. Sullivan wins it at 58.85. Second will go to Kozinski Murphy of Lake Washington. And Caitlin Quamps from West Valley is third. Fourth to Tracy Macias. Fifth will go to Gabrielle Rector. And sixth to Alicia Hummel. Huge win for Abby Sullivan for Tumwater, but a big get for Kozinski Murphy to come in second in this one to try and maintain that lead over Tumwater. And then Lake Washington getting an additional placing of Gabrielle Rector as the fifth place finisher. So Lake Washington should maintain their lead despite the win by Tumwater, but we'll see how that finals up. Here's Abby Sullivan. Congratulations on the win. The time of 58.85 is nearly a second better than her preliminary time yesterday. So a nice win for Abby Sullivan and Tumwater. The 100-yard breaststroke is coming up next, but first we will have the awards in the 200-yard free relay. And the updated scores here through 10 events in the team competition. And by virtue of having two finalists, Lake Washington, despite seeing Tumwater win the event, is able to expand their lead as the points picked up by Kozinski, Murphy, and Rector offset the win by Sullivan of Tumwater. And Lake Washington right now a lead with two events to go of 186 over Tumwater's 165. Sumner is in third right now with 124 points. Seaholm is fourth with 112. Squalicum fifth. A tie for fifth between Squalicum and Ellensburg with 111. So Seaholm, the defending champ, in fourth place right now. Squalicum, the two-time winner before that, in fifth place. But right now it is a battle between Lake Washington and Tumwater, with Lake Washington holding the advantage at the moment. Here are the award presentations in the 200-yard freestyle relay, held just a few minutes ago. In eighth place, it is Fife in a time of 1:47.87. In seventh place, Squalicum, a time of 1:47.54. In sixth place is Lake Washington, 1:47.50, the time for the Kangaroos. Here they come out to the podium. Looking ahead to the 100-yard breaststroke, the favorite will be Ashley Hune, the top qualifier from Sumner. Although she'll get good competition from Taylor Wilson of Ellensburg, who is the top seeded competitor coming in, the second best qualifying time. Meredith Sawyer of Fife right in that mix as well. Third best qualifier, third best seed coming in. It's going to be a real duel between Hune, Wilson, and Sawyer in the finals. But first we'll have a consolation heat after the presentation of the 200-yard freestyle awards. In fifth place, Seaholm. In fourth place, Sumner. In third place is Capital in a time of 1:43.40. Mark Morris capturing second. in a time of 1 minute 43 seconds, 39 100ths. And here they come out for the presentation. Always tougher with the relay races to get everybody up onto those podiums. And here is the champion of the 4x50 yard or the 200 yard freestyle. It is the Tumwater team. T-Birds getting the win. And that was what pulled them back into competition with Lake Washington. A big victory there. Of course, they get a win in the backstroke from Sullivan, but a couple of finalists for Lake Washington helped to expand the lead for the Kangaroos with 2 events left to go. So there are your medalists in the 200 yard freestyle relay. Tumwater capturing the victory. So with 2 events left to go, and Lake Washington owning a near 20-point lead, is there a shot for Tumwater to come back? Let's take a look at who's in this final field. And Tumwater without a competitor in the breaststroke competition. However, Lake Washington with freshman Jana Van Stone in the finals. So an opportunity for Lake Washington. They're going to expand their point total there. Going into the freestyle relay, Tumwater had the fastest qualifying time, but guess who had the second fastest? Lake Washington. So it's going to be a tall order for Tumwater to be able to make up the ground on Lake Washington. So for right now, 2 events, it's looking very strong, like the Lake Washington Kangaroos are going to capture a state title here in the 2A Girls State Swim and Dive Championships. So 2 more heats to go. 2 in the breaststroke, 2 in the freestyle relay. Here's the consolation final in the breaststroke. Ada Beal from Seton Catholic, the fastest qualifying time in this heat at 1:13.18. She will be in lane 4. Joining her in this field in lane number 1, Courtney Larson, a sophomore from Pullman. Sammamish's Jillian Mathis will be in lane 2, also a sophomore. Haley Bash, a senior from Centralia, in lane 3. Beal is in 4. Eloise Bautista from Renton, a senior, in lane 5. Serena Village from Port Townsend is in lane 6. She's a senior. Lily Hyatt in lane 7, a junior from Centralia. And North Kitsap freshman Ellie Gallagher is in lane number 8. And a clean start in the 100-yard breaststroke. 4 lengths of the pool in this one. And after the first turn, McCloskey of Archbishop Murphy in lane 5. Just a slight advantage, actually pulling ahead now. Nielsen in lane 3 for Squalicum. Let's see who touches the wall first halfway through. And it is Centralia's Haley Bash with a slight lead at 34.09. Second, Bautista in lane 5. And Beal, the favorite, in lane 4 was in 3rd place. 25 yards to go, and it appears the advantage is in those middle lanes. Right now, surfacing first is Bash in lane 3. She's going to get a battle here in lane 5 from Bautista. Coming up tight on the outside, Serena Village in lane 6. Who's going to win it? It is Haley Bash from Centralia in lane 3. Finishing second in the consolation final, Ada Beal in lane 4 from Seton Catholic. And the 3rd place finisher, Eloise Bautista from Renton in lane 5. So the action all right there in the middle. A good tight finish as 1, 2, 3, 4 competitors all finishing within 1 second of another. So here is our march of finalists as the competitors in the finals of the 100-yard breaststroke. This will feature Ashley Hune, the top qualifier in lane number 4 from Sumner, but it's going to be another battle in lanes 3, 4, and 5. Meredith Sawyer of Fife and Taylor Wilson in lane 5 from Ellensburg, all with the top qualifying and seed times. The rest of the lane assignments here in the 2A 100-yard breaststroke final. Kiana Doris of Fife, a sophomore, will be in lane 1. Gina Van Stone, an up-and-coming freshman from Lake Washington, will be in lane 2. We mentioned Meredith Sawyer in lane 3 for Fife. Ashley Hune for Sumner in lane 4. Taylor Wilson from Ellensburg in lane 5. Josephine Hegeberg is a junior from Squalicum. She'll be in 6. Taylor Wilson getting a big round of applause. Hannah Holmgren will be in lane 7. From Seaholm, she's just a freshman. And Juskovic of Port Angeles, a freshman as well, will be in lane 8 here in the finals of the 100-yard breaststroke. One more event to go after this one. It's the 400-yard free relay. A clean start. And in the opening 25, a great start by Taylor Wilson of Ellensburg. Wilson had the fastest seed time coming into the tournament, second best qualifying time yesterday in the preliminaries, and she has the lead coming off of the wall. Good look up in lane 3, Sawyer from Fife now nipping ahead. Who'll touch the wall first? It will be Fife's Sawyer, followed by Wilson of Ellensburg and Hune of Sumner. The battle in lanes 3, 4, and 5. Wilson looks to be edging out a little bit. Sawyer trying to hold on. The final 25 yards, and right now, Meredith Sawyer of Fife with the slight advantage. It's going to be Sawyer and Wilson battling it out. Sawyer with 10 yards to go, the slight advantage. Will Wilson get her? No, Sawyer wins, 106.34. 3/10 back is Wilson for second, and Hune from Sumner will capture third in lane number 4. The fourth place finisher, Jana Van Stone for Lake Washington, helping to expand the Kangaroo lead in the team competition. Squalicum's Hegeberg is 5th in lane 6. 6th is Holmgren from Seaholm. 7th is Doris from Fife. And Juskovic from Port Angeles finishes 8th in the 100-yard breaststroke. So congratulations to Meredith Sawyer, who was able to hold off Taylor Wilson for the win. So before we move on to our final event of the competition, the 400-yard freestyle relay, we'll have the presentation of the 100-yard backstroke awards, the WISCA award presentation, and then the 100-yard breaststroke awards. We're going to step aside as we prepare for the awards presentations. This is the WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington, Les Schwab Tires 2012 2A Girls State Swim and Dive Championships. We're back in a moment.
Hi, we're Chris
and Anna Groneveld, local dairy farmers from Monroe, Washington.
The Dairy Farmers of Washington, along with Les Schwab Tires, are proud co-title sponsors of the WIAA High School State Championships.
The Washington Interscholastic Activities Association supports high school programs and activities that keep our kids growing in mind and body.
Today's high school students will be some of tomorrow's community leaders, and we feel it is important to do our part in helping foster an appreciation of community, responsibility, teamwork, and sportsmanship in today's youth.
The WIAA helps provide those opportunities through athletic, artistic, and academic competition.
Please join the Dairy Farmers of Washington and Les Schwab Tires in supporting young people in your community by attending your local high school state championships.
For a complete list of events and activities in your area, visit WIAA.com.
Back in Federal Way here at the 2A Girls State Swim and Dive Championships. The award presentations being made right now for the 100-yard backstroke, followed by the Whisker Award presentation, and then the awards for the 100-yard backstroke, and then we'll settle in for our final event of the competition, the 400-yard freestyle relay, consolation, and final. An update on our team competition right now. Through the 11 of 12 events, Lake Washington owning a 201 to 165 advantage over Tumwater, provided Lake Washington can avoid disqualification in the 400-yard freestyle relay. They should capture the state title here. Tumwater, the favorite, the fastest qualifying time by a good margin in the 400-yard freestyle relay, will need those points. They'll need to secure a victory and hope for a Lake Washington disqualification, but that's not the way we want to go. Lake Washington has put together an outstanding meet here in 2012 and looks to be on their way to the championship. Here are your winners of the 100-yard backstroke. And this is the one that kind of got it done for Lake Washington a bit. Despite the win by Abby Sullivan of Tumwater, Lake Washington placing 2 in the top 5, giving them an advantage and helping to push their lead out further. But Masalenikova is the 8th place finisher. Shirley Lamb of Seaholm 7th. Alicia Hummel of Ellensburg 6th. Gabrielle Rector is 5th from Lake Washington. Tracy Macias from Port Angeles 4th. Caitlin Quamps of West Valley in 3rd. Kozinski Murphy of Lake Washington is 2nd, and Abby Sullivan the winner for Tumwater in a time of 58.85. So those the presentations of the champions of the 100-yard backstroke. We move on to now the presentation of the WISCA Awards, and we'll listen to our public address announcer in the presentation of that. Presentation of the WISCA Award, and then the presentation of the 100-yard breaststroke awards.
In 8th place, Puerto Driskovich, freshman from Port Angeles, 112-12.
We're actually moving on to the presentation of the breaststroke awards at this time. A little change in the schedule. That happens from time to time here. It's amazing how well they put together these meets when you bring all these teams into one place, and especially all the championship presentations, the award presentation, just a fantastic effort on part of all of those putting together this activity. So a look at our 100-yard breaststroke finalists, our medalists, and Kart Juskovic from Port Angeles is the 8th place finisher. Fife's Kiana Doris, the 7th place finisher. Seaholm's Hannah Holmgren finishes in 6th place. Squalicum's Josephine Hagebird is the 5th place medalist. Lake Washington's Jana Van Stone just getting her career started, just a freshman for the Kangaroos, getting some points there in 4th place. Sumner's Ashley Hume is the 3rd place finisher. She'll be presented in just a moment. And here she comes. Kuhn, a senior in her final state meet. Giving the high fives to the fellow medalists. The 2nd place finisher in a time of 106.64 in the 100-yard breaststroke. Ellensburg's Taylor Wilson, who's got a great rooting section off to the side of us here. Wilson, a fantastic run. And just a sophomore for Ellensburg. And the champion is Fife's Meredith Saar, 106.34. She bested Wilson by just 0.3 of a second for the win. So Sawyer, the winner. There are your medalists in the 100-yard breaststroke, leaving us with just one event remaining. the 400-yard freestyle relay. Team competition all but decided at this point, but some moving ground to be made in terms of placement. Lake Washington, we mentioned, in first place with 201 points. Tumwater with 165 points. Sumner in third place with 140 points. Ellensburg in fourth place with 128 points. 3 points back is Seaholm and Squalicum in a tie for fifth. In seventh place, it's Capital with 104 points. Mark Morris with 103 points. Those are your top 8, so a lot of moving could be done here in this final heat with the relay. The WISCA Award presentation now being presented. Let's listen in.
An award that is selected by the coaching peers on the pool deck. Our recipient this year is a worthy recipient of the award, has several decades involved with coaching swimming, has been successful at every level, and the 2012 2A Girls State High School Swimming Coach of the Year is Mike Bemis.
And the WISCA Award being presented to Mike Bemis, the head coach at Hawkinson, as well as Seton Catholic. And that is the one that is awarded by the peers. And so congratulations, the winner of the WISCA Award, Mike Bemis, head coach at Hawkinson and Seton Catholic. And waiting to see where he surfaces here for the honoring of that award. The relays coming up next. The final event of the 2A Girls State Swim and Dive Championships. The 400-yard freestyle relay, a consolation heat, and then the finals heat. So Mike Bemis, the recipient of the WISCA Award, honoring his service and time and energies at Hawkinson and Seton Catholic, among several other posts along the way. So congratulations. Deserved representation. And now the presentation of the Swimmer of the Meet Award, and no doubt about it, Julia Sanders, the 2A Swimmer of the Meet, as Hawkinson's multi-champion, a four-peat in the 100 butterfly, a champion in the 100 butterfly, as well as the 200 IM today. So Julia Sanders, the Swimmer of the Meet, no doubt about that one, I believe. Wrapping up a fantastic career for Hawkinson. She'll see if she can perhaps put together one last swim. Although I do believe her team did not make the final two heats of the 400-yard freestyle relay. So Hawkinson's Julia Sanders wrapping up a fantastic career with two individual championships in this one. So here's the 400-yard freestyle relay, or better known as the 4x100. So each swimmer going down and back and down and back. Archbishop Murphy is in lane number 1. Bellingham is in lane 2. Aberdeen is in lane 3. Renton is in lane 4. Squalicum, the defending champion in this team event, is in the consolation final in lane 5. Prosser is in lane 6. Olympic in lane 7. And Lindbergh is in lane 8 at the bottom of your screen. So at the first split, it is the early lead for Prosser in lane number 6. Aberdeen in lane number 3 in second. This one looks to be neck and neck as we near the first exchange. Touching first will be Aberdeen with Prosser right behind him. Bellingham not too far behind either, as is Olympic. Second swimmer's in the water, and Prosser down there in lane 6 trying to add to the advantage, but look at the top of the screen. Lanes 2 and 3 starting to put it together. Bellingham and Aberdeen passing up Prosser. Halfway through the second leg, and it's now Bellingham in front in lane 2. Prosser in lane 6 in second, and Aberdeen in third in lane 3. Turning from the wall first, Bellingham adding to the advantage. Nearly a body length lead or better here for Bellingham as they're going to get to the wall halfway through this race. Second exchange, and it's made cleanly. 1:58.32 halfway through. Squalicum now in second. In lane 5, and in third is Aberdeen in lane 3 halfway through. Bellingham trying to expand on their lead of a body length plus. Coming up in lane 5, though, is Squalicum trying to close the gap a little bit. Next split, Bellingham will be in front, but what's the margin? 2:28 to 2:29, so a little over a second. The advantage for Bellingham over right now Squalicum in lane 5. Renton has moved into third now in lane 4. Final exchange to be made here. Bellingham still in front, but the lead is closing. 3:01.97 for Bellingham. Renton, though less than a second behind in second place in lane 4. Also less than a second behind in lane 5 is Squalicum. Renton with Talahild swimming this final leg. Squalicum, Catherine Monahan. $50 yards to go in the 400-yard freestyle relay, and it's Renton now in the lead in lane number 4. Squalicum in second. Renton's Talahild. She's going to get it for Renton here in the consolation final. 10 yards to go. She'll win it for them. Squalicum looks like they'll tap in second. The battle's for third, and it's Olympic that will get it in lane 7. Winning time of 3 minutes, 59 seconds and change. And for Renton, that is under their time of 4:01.59 yesterday. So a nice improvement for Renton in capturing the consolation final. And on to our final event of the 2A Girls State Swim and Dive Championships, the final heat, we should say. And that is the finals of the 400-yard freestyle relay. And here comes our march of finalists. As Tumwater, the top qualifier yesterday in a time of 3:43.91. They were the top seed time coming in as well. And they will be in the coveted lane 4. Tumwater with Annika Stoker leading off. Giving way to Alex Cummings, then Lorraine Hack, and then the talented Abby Sullivan to bring things home. They will be battling with the second best qualifying team, Lake Washington, the team with the team scoring lead right now. Laura Chop to lead it off, followed by Claire Kozinski-Murph, Jessica McKinney, and then freshman Jana Van Stone. These were the swimmers in yesterday's preliminaries, and anticipating that they will hold those particular spots once again. Capital will be in lane 3, and they will have Janessa Schulte, followed by Jada Pearson, Jessica Eidenmuller, and then Hansine Willoughby bringing it home. The rest of the lane assignments, West Valley of Yakima is in lane number 1. Ellensburg will be in lane number 2. Then Capital in 3, Tumwater in 4, Lake Washington in 5. Port Angeles will be in 6, Seaholm in lane 7, and rounding out the field of 8 in this 2A final, Pullman in lane 8. Right now, Lake Washington with a near 20-point advantage. In the team totals. In fact, it's better than that. It's 201 to 165. Tumwater needs a win and a Lake Washington DQ perhaps. But right now, it looks like the Kangaroos will be coronated as team champions of the girls' state 2A meet. But let's see how we settle in here for this final event. Swimmers are ready. Tumwater, the fastest qualifier there in lane number 4. They've got the green caps on. Lake Washington with the purple cap in lane 5. And it's the early start off the blocks. A good one for Tumwater as they have that fast advantage, but a long way to go in this one. 4 lengths of the pool for each swimmer. And it's a fast start for Annika Stoker and Tumwater in lane 4. Right behind them out in lane number 2, that is Ellensburg. Is Anna Froelich. A good start. Now moving up. Out in lane 1 is West Valley, but Tumwater holding on to the tough spot, but West Valley might get second here. They might get first here at the first exchange, and it's Tumwater in by 2 1/1000ths of a second. 2 100ths of a second, I should say. Tumwater in front after the first exchange, 54.83. That time, Ellensburg was in third. Right now, though, Tumwater clearing the way in lane 4. West Valley falling off the pace just a little bit up in lane 1 for Tumwater. This is Alex Cummings on the swim. Good turn there. The split of 121.89 now opening up a 2.5 lead over West Valley in lane 1. Lane 6 has Port Angeles starting to make a move. And here is Tumwater nearing the midway mark and the second of 3 exchanges. They'll touch in first, 152.70 halfway through. Then it's West Valley at 155.13. And in third, 155.57 for Lake Washington. This is Lorraine Hack leading the way for Tumwater. Now got a better than body length lead as West Valley starts to fall back, and now Lake Washington making a move into second place. Tumwater still in front by a good 3 seconds. Lake Washington now in second in lane 5. And West Valley falling back to third at the top of your screen in lane 1. Final length of the pool before the final exchange here in the 400-yard relay. Tumwater in front. Lake Washington a body length and a half back. Here's the final exchange, and here is Abby Sullivan for Tumwater looking to bring it home. Lake Washington with Jana Van Stone trying to make up the ground and also trying to hold off Port Angeles, who's in third now in lane 6. Tumwater, 50 yards to go, a split time of 3:13.08. That's 2 seconds faster than yesterday in the preliminaries, in which they blew away the field. Final turn for Tumwater. Lake Washington holding ground in second. Port Angeles trying to make a move, but this one is all T-Birds. Tumwater gonna win 3:40.87. Lake Washington is going to tap in second. The battle for third will go to Ellensburg, just out-touching Port Angeles, who finishes fourth. Capital will go fifth, Seaholm sixth, West Valley seventh, and Pullman will finish eighth. A winning time by Tumwater of 3:40.87 will set a meet record, bettering Squalicum's time of 3:42.41 in 2010. So what a swim for Tumwater, capturing the 4x100 freestyle relay and doing it in meet record time. And that is the final event of our competition. We'll have the presentation of the relay awards here momentarily, and then crown the team medalists as well. Glad you could join us for this 2A Girls State Swim and Dive Championships from the King County Aquatic Center here in Federal Way, presented by WIAA, Dairy Farmers of Washington, and Les Schwab Tires. All that's left to do right now is count up the points and award the medals. And that meet record just completed by Tumwater. .340.87 as they capture 40 points for the win, but Lake Washington getting 34 points for second place. Appears to have held on for the team state title, but we'll wait for the final tallies to be made and the presentation of the team awards here in just a few minutes. In the meantime, we'll have the presentation of the awards for the 400-yard freestyle relay. It's been a heck of a meet so far, let me tell you. Everything starting back in the 200-yard medley relay and a win by Sumner. In 200-yard freestyle, Gwendolyn Rowley, the sophomore from Seaholm, capturing a victory. In the 200-yard individual medley, Julia Sanders capturing her first of 2 individual state titles today, adding to her stockpile. In the 50-yard freestyle, it was Ann Froelich of Ellensburg winning. In the diving championships, Tori Franzen of Squalicum smashing the field and setting a new meet record in the process. The 100-yard butterfly saw Julia Sanders complete the 4-peat. And she's picked up the championship in the 100-yard butterfly for each of the last 4 years, and a double winner. She ends up winning the Swimmer of the Meet award as well. In the 100-yard freestyle, Abby Sullivan capturing the victory there. Kelsey Crane defending her state title in the 500-yard freestyle. And in the 200-yard freestyle relay, Tumwater showing their strengths in the relays, capturing their first of 2 freestyle relay wins. In the 100-yard backstroke, it was Abby Sullivan collecting her second victory, state championship of the day. And of course, Sullivan competing on those relays. She has had a banner day for Tumwater. The 100-yard breaststroke won by Meredith Sawyer of Fife. And then Tumwater capturing the 400-yard freestyle relay here just a few moments ago. And of course, Abby Sullivan, a winner in the 100-yard freestyle, a winner in the 100-yard backstroke. What a way to go out as a senior, and then competing and seeing her team capture victories in the 200-yard freestyle relay as well as the 400-yard freestyle relay, and swimming that final leg for Tumwater. So a busy day and a heck of a day for Abby Sullivan. Your stars of the meet: Sanders from Hawkinson and Sullivan from Tumwater. The presentation for the relay medalists being done right now. Pullman in 8th place, West Valley of Yakima in 7th. Seaholm gets the 6th spot. Capital finishes 5th. The 4th place award goes here to Port Angeles, and now Ellensburg being awarded 3rd place. 2nd place going to Lake Washington here a strong swim, but it's Tumwater that bested them by nearly 6 seconds. And Lake Washington, the Kangaroos, getting poised on the podium there on that second place spot, but they'll make a return trip out to that podium here in just a few minutes for the state awards. But the winner of the 4x100 yard freestyle is Tumwater in a meet record time of 3 minutes, 40 seconds, and 87 100ths. What a job from Stoker, Cummings, Hack, and Sullivan. And they slap high fives here with all the competitors. And those are your medalists. In the 400 freestyle relay, Ellensburg third, Lake Washington second, and Tumwater the champions as they capture both freestyle relays, the 200 and the 400. Here are the final combined team scores. They will acknowledge the top four here in just a few moments. In 20th place, Prosser with 37 points. Sammamish was 19th with 39. A tie for 17th between Port Townsend and Renton, both with 51. Archbishop Murphy, 16th with 60 points. Bellingham with 61 points, captures 15th. Hawkinson, behind the strength of Julia Sanders, capturing 14th place, 64 points. 13th point for Pullman with 66. WF West was 12th with 68. West Valley of Yakima 11th with 82 points. Your top 10 in the team competition: in 10th place, Fife with 99 points. 9th will go to Mark Morris with 103. Port Angeles is 8th with 118. 7th is Capital with 132. Squalicum picking up 6th place with 139 points. Sumner is 5th with 140. Seaholm, the defending champions, will fall to 4th this year with 151 points. And they are all coming out right now to the podium. They will acknowledge the top four on the podium here. So Seaholm with 151 points in 4th place. In 3rd place, it'll be Ellensburg with 160 points. Waiting for that acknowledgement here. Here's the trophy presentation to Seaholm. They won the championship last year, were runners-up in 2009. And now 3rd place going to Ellensburg. And a loud applause from the Ellensburg faithful off to our left. Ellensburg moving up in the ranks last year. They were 7th at state. So a nice 4th place finish for Ellensburg. Relay finishes helping out there, as well as Ann Froelic's win in the 50-yard freestyle. 2nd place is going to go to Tumwater with 205 points. And that means our champion here at the WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington Les Schwab Tires 2012 2A Girls State Swim and Dive Championships is going to be Lake Washington High School with a total of 235 points in this one. Right now, the presentations being made for Ellensburg in their 3rd place finish. And the formalities yet to come. Here's the 2nd place finish for Tumwater. They're going to receive their medals here. And Lake Washington, I think, just finding out a second ago that they had won the title. as a loud scream of purple-clad swimmers and divers erupted when the announcement of Tumwater of second place. And so for Lake Washington out of the Kingco, ecstatic over their victory, and a well-earned one at that. Tumwater gave them all the fight they could, though. End up 15 points short in this one. There's the round of applause for Tumwater. Photos all around. Happy times here. And now the coronation of new champions, the Kangaroos of Lake Washington High School from Kirkland, Washington. Here they come out to the podium to receive their acknowledgement as team state champions. Certainly taking the time to get out to the podium. They acknowledge the presentation of a trophy that will stay at the school, as well as the revolving trophy. And they'll have to bring it back and try to defend their title in 2013. But they will enjoy the victory here today. There is Lake Washington taking the podium, state champions in the team competition. There's the presentation of the trophy, as well as the revolving one coming up here in just a moment. Well, it's been a heck of a meet here at the Federal Way Weyerhaeuser King County Aquatic Center. Titles defended, titles won, and some historic runs for swimmers here in the 2A classification. And Lake Washington hoisting the trophy for the victory. And that's going to wrap things up here from Federal Way. Alex Webster thanking you for joining us for the WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington Les Schwab Tires 2012 2A Girls State Swim and Dive Championships. We're going to keep it right here for a second as we look for Lake Washington to take that victory hoist and victory photograph. They are your new 2A Girls State Swim and Dive Championships. Victory is sweet, and the Kangaroos know it, and they'll be back to defend next year. Thanks for joining us. So long, everybody.